All right, kids. All righty. Bam, bam, bam. Now we got to find the stream and all of my bookmarks. Ooh, new timeout lengths. Now you can put people in timeout for different lengths, ranging from 10 seconds. Oh, I guess that's a YouTube thing. I don't know if it's a StreamYards thing. What's going on? Look at you kids. I figured, you know what? Rather than go live from the Johnny 50 live channel, let's do the main channel. I haven't been live on this main channel in forever. What the heck, kids? All right. All right, who was first? Shields of Shame. Jen Wow, Butthead, Ruth Toner, PayPal me. What's going on, you guys? Sliver Diamond. Glad you're on the mend, feeling better. Lopez, look at that Lopez in here. Sab Crazy. Paulie Glocks here for the Johnny 50 bobblehead giveaway. You're always he's ruining all the surprises. What's up, everybody? A little bit after 8 o'clock. Uh, 8 o'clock Los Angeles time. It was a little chilly. It was a little chilly in LA last couple of days. It got down to freezing. Who would have known? I mean, that's like, it's total insanity. Jen Wow, what's up? I'm just going to say hi to the ladies. That's all that really matters. Sharice McDonald. Where are all the other ladies in here? Everybody else doesn't matter. Keeper of the list, what's up? Lucky Bear. Look at Paulie Glocks going at it. So, all good. Snap phase, what's going on? So there's a couple special guests that supposed to be stopping by. Who knows? You know how special guests can be. We're gonna wing it, Silicon Valley Copwatch tonight for the subject matter. Talk a little bit about my I'm cutting the Santa Barbara arrest video from February 2020. The whole long story behind it. So, Silver Diamond had a lot of YouTube names: Willie Nelson, Keith Richards. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Lacey R. Pepper Brooks. Is that James Freeman? That's not James Freeman, is it? It's not. That's not like. It's not like the real James Freeman. There's no way. No way, that's the real James Freeman. James Freeman, you want to come in and say hello? All right, Candace. Hey, Johnny, love you long time. Prove it. You know what? This is talk is cheap, Candace. Prove it. Okay, how many people think that James Freeman, how many people cannot okay, it's one thing for people to think James Freeman and I sound similar. It's another thing for people to not be able to differentiate between the two of us. Like that's a little disturbing. However, I am completely not objective in that equation, obviously. So, yeah. Hey, Sab Crazy, did you see the Best of Copwatch Part 2? I actually put 2 videos in there with you and I together that have been previously unpublished in high res. They've been live streamed, but not high res. With the guy, the short little guy who Officer McLaren, who was a little Yankee, with the police helicopter circling overhead, and then the officer steroids who overheard our conversations. Hopefully, Sab, you picked up on those. Those were 2 previously unpublished videos. Seattle Judy, Bell for Freedom's good. She might stop in here. Not sure. All right. Give me 1 second. There goes the neighborhood.
How's it going, Jeff?
The neighborhood. Back the blue. Look, he's even got a blue microphone, you guys. And look, he's got blue in the background. Like he is gone full on. Dude, my headset is blue. Like everything about it is blue. So much that I took a black Sharpie to the blue edge. It's starting to fade because it's a couple of years old. But then you know what I was thinking to myself? When I was a teenager in high school, my parents let me paint my bedroom, and I painted it like electric blue. I mean, like like electric blue. And I was like, blue is my favorite color. And then I was like, oh, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it can't be any longer because the police hijacked it. And then I was like, no. And then I came back full circle and I was like, fuck the police. I get to have blue as my favorite color. Like they don't get to ruin my, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That was always my favorite color too.
Yeah. They don't get to steal that. So, F the police. Yeah. Yeah. What's going on, man? Sorry I overwhelmed you with the text earlier or a couple weeks ago.
I looked at it.
If you guys think that I am bad ADHD, you need to hang out with James Freeman at some point. He split a case of Red Bull in an afternoon.
Can I tell him what you did though? What you texted? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
So, you overwhelmed me. I got scared. I'm afraid of commitment. So Johnny texted me. Johnny
Oh,
texted me and said, "Hey man, I'd like to do a podcast with you. I know so I was thinking I could fly out there and we could do somewhere between 8 and 10 1-hour shows or something like that." And I'm going, dude, I mean,
oh,
I plan most of my stuff like 3 to 4
years,
minutes ahead of time.
right?
So I mean, you're
Way too
talking
much.
about not just one
Like you,
episode, but like
you,
8
you
to
would need,
10.
you would need a calendar.
Yes, yes, yes. And I don't know where to get one of those. So
Oh,
you overwhelmed me, and I said, "Look, I don't want to say no because I mean I kind of
right.
do want to, but I don't want to say yes because no, I'm not going to make a commitment."
Right.
But
No.
so
I get it. I know. I get it. I get it. I'm totally that way. Like my inbox, you know what I mean? Like people are like, Johnny, there's a stack of mail over there. None of it's been opened. I'm like, yeah, it's all about a year old, 2 years old.
it's,
I mean,
uh, use
it's
it as
not. I
kindling.
mean, it can't be that important. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
you know, I mean, somebody would reach out to me on a different level if it was more important than that. So,
Right.
um, so what's going on, man? How's life in the Southwest?
Oh, it's all right, I guess. I don't think I'll ever get used to New Mexico.
You been back to Arizona recently?
What's that?
Have you been back to Arizona recently at all?
No. I haven't been in a couple of years.
Okay.
We haven't done a lot of traveling ever since we kind of got locked down and I lost about 80% of my income.
Right. Yeah.
Just starting to recover from all that, and hopefully we'll be traveling again soon.
Uh-oh.
And yeah,
James, we're on notice. See, look what I pinned on the screen.
boring. Do something, dude. I came in here pretty baked, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Good.
so yeah. I guess I'm boring when I'm high. Ain't much to me.
Oh my
I mean, we
God.
could
The
get
trolls.
some boobies in here, Johnny. That way I
Uh,
can just sit here and
Right. Right.
with my
Yeah.
mouth hanging open, drooling at that, and we'll call that entertainment, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dude, Direct D is just blowing it up in Arizona, man. I mean, that guy
Yeah.
is just kicking ass and taking names, man, and good for him. I mean, uh, he's just blowing it up, dude. So I applaud that. I applaud that guy.
Speaking of blowing it up, have you seen the
Oh, we'll be right back.
the officer in Ava, Missouri? You seen him?
No, which one was
Uh,
that?
um, can we are we allowed to give out pornographic websites here? No, I guess don't give out the site. Um, gosh, I'm probably too high to gather this whole thought. So, cop in Ava, Missouri, that had bullied somebody out of a building while he was trying to file a complaint. He posted the video, and some of the locals in the area started sending links to videos that allegedly this cop was in. So yeah, we got a cop out in Ava, Missouri that I guess was allegedly in some porn videos. And
Like, I mean, like normal porn. I mean, listen, I'm 50. So I'll be 57 in a couple of weeks. Like, so you know, my tastes have gotten. Ooh, I mean, you know what I mean. Where you're just like, I'm like,
I've only
dude, if there's not a midget and a Great Dane, you know what I mean.
right,
Like, I'm
right. I'm with you. I'm with you. So yeah, this is boring. This is really
all right.
boring stuff.
All right. So it's like it's first of all, is it hetero? Is it like boy girl? Like or
yeah, it's they call it straight, but it's gangbangs. It's mostly what is it called? Marines gangbanging chicks. So
like against their will or what? I'm sorry.
I think
That
it's all
goes
consensual.
well. I mean, as soon as I hear, you know, As soon as I start hearing about government things, I start thinking everything's against
Again, yeah, it's always forced.
without consent.
Yep.
Okay, so he was active duty military. Okay, so was this like current porn of the guy, or like from 10, 20 years ago, something like
Yeah,
that?
2008, 2009. He was, yeah. I mean, to me, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I think you and I both agree on that. Consenting adults get to do whatever they want on
Yeah,
on their
and
own time. I mean, but
I'm very
but he
pro
made a big
sex
deal
work
out of
as
it.
well. So, he made a big deal. What
He
do you mean?
made a big deal out of it. So at this point, everybody's just teasing him about it. Because we're like, dude, nobody even cared. No, nobody cared. But he, yeah, one of these so-called auditor guys or whatever, I guess he shouted out that this guy was in porn, and this dude put a felony warrant out on the auditor and said, hey, you know, you telling everyone that I bullied you out of the department when you were trying to file a complaint, and you telling everyone that I'm in porn, well, that constitutes felony harassment. And he put it in a sworn affidavit that he was in that the pornography was not homosexual in nature. And so then people started going, wait a second, why are you so adamant that it wasn't homo?
Right. Like who prefaces, well, it wasn't a gay porn.
Right.
I mean, that was the porn. That was the porn I did for hire at 4:00 that day. At the noon shoot was hetero.
Right. So nobody cared that he was in porn. Nobody cared if it was gay or straight. And he starts coming out, oh, he harassed me and it was no homo. So now everybody's teasing him that he's got to be in the closet because he's so adamant that he wasn't in homo. And, you know, nobody cares but him. But
okay. So who does, has anybody in the chat seen this? Was it like a blow bang, a gang bang? Like what? I mean, I don't know. It takes a minute here. Dude, when you said that guy, when you've made that video with that like I have a confession to make, and the dispatch was like, it's okay, take a deep breath. I was like, dude, I didn't even know where you were going with that. And I was like,
that was the guy I was calling to turn in. That was the gangbang cop. They put a felony warrant out on this guy for exposing that same guy. So now, I mean, yeah. Now I just feel the need to tease the guy a lot.
Right. All right, we need to figure out. We need to figure out what's. But definitely, I'm going to call on that guy and ask
for a free subscription.
Yeah, no, just try to, like, you know, just be like, listen, if that's, you know, I don't know if you know, if homegrown porn, was it like homegrown, or was it like pro level, like production, or I mean, what are we talking?
I'd say somewhere in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like mid level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was some kids basically doing it, some young Marines, and so it wasn't like spontaneous, like, hey, let's set up the camera while we're doing it, but it was kind of low budget. You know, here we got some camera equipment around. I can borrow my mom's lamp and, you know, turn it this way and get some decent lighting.
Right. No, they always use those like Home Depot like shop lights. You know what I mean?
Right,
like for painting a wall, where you're like, shadows are a little harsh. You know, like throw like a sheet in front of it. Yeah, exactly. SOS Alley. Somebody, no one's admitting to what, like,
no.
I mean, you guys are like, everybody's all uptight in my chat, man. It's been a while. You know what I mean? Like they're not like lubed up, and you know what I mean? Like they're not loose. They're not used to the, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, I've regrown my hymen, Johnny.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I don't.
Born again virgin. Well, get ready to get raped again tonight. I mean, consensually sexed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, somebody dude, somebody posted, somebody left me a message on my most recent video or whatever, and they were like, Johnny, there's a guy named like Clown Show or something like that that has one of your paying the video in Pasadena with pennies. They have it up on Twitter and it's got like 2 million views. And I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go in there and just try to like throw my original link up. If nothing, you know what I mean? Like I assure you that nobody. And so for some reason, they sped up my voice and I sound like a chipmunk and it is just disturbing. And there's, and so I just went in like cut and pasted, like control V, control V, control V, like, this is my video. Here's the original link, like here and the backstory. So, but yeah, it's got like over 2 million views and, so I don't even know, why I brought that up just now. I'm just trying to match James Freeman's inability to think clearly and coherently without a case of Red Bull.
You got stoned as soon as I showed up stoned, didn't you?
Dude, when I went out to Jimmy Freeman's back in February of 18, and we had our first bromance. I think we went to like maybe like a Sam's Club or something like that, or like we bought we definitely bought a case of Red Bull right off the
yep.
and we drank like a dozen between the two of us within a day. That was also the same day that that Patrick came over to your house and started doing fucking like he started fucking like total mania, started doing push-ups on your fucking kitchen floor. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I thought you were going to say it was the day he almost got shot in my house, but different. Yeah, I remember that.
He just starts I was like, oh, I remember being 19 and just like, I mean, like cocaine's a hell of a drug. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know, like just being 19 and just being like,
well,
the need to like do push-ups on a floor. You know what I mean? So
he wasn't your average 19-year-old either, though. He was more of a 19-year-old with autism,
Right.
Which was that much more fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone loved to hate Patrick, but man, I kind of loved just how
you went out with him you went out with him quite a bit, man. That was fantastic. I remember what was the when he had his Mason tattoo or whatever, or like something like that, and he was like, he turned to you after, and he was like, James, whatever you do, I need you to delete that portion when I made the contact with the cop where he was like, oh, you're a Mason, I'm a Mason, and we had like he saw my tattoos and we had this like mutual, but then he turned to you and he was like, James, whatever you do, edit that out of the video. And it didn't.
Didn't I leave it in and also leave the part of him saying to edit it out?
Yes.
That was my first channel, and that channel got taken down. So like 4 years later, somebody came and was commenting all over my stuff. James, why did you delete that video of Patrick admitting to be a Freemason or whatever? You guys got my channel taken down. The video,
right?
I ended up reposting that though.
That's fantastic.
That kid's off the wall.
What's he do? What's he doing these days? What's
Jeez, I don't know. Have you seen some of the drama that's gone down with him and Jack? That was entertaining.
No,
I think he's doing pretty well business wise.
Okay, hey, good for him. Good for him. Somebody said he's reusing News Now Houston videos.
I mean, he's same old like sleazy old Patrick.
It's not like David's got any use. I mean,
And when you say he's using News Now Houston videos, are you talking about like, did News Now Houston video? Never mind. I'm going to stop right there. That's going to go too far.
Yeah. We want to keep this, we
You're
don't
going to have
want
to
to
take this stream down.
I don't want to put, right. I don't want to have to put this on private now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I apologize for almost going off the rails there, Johnny.
No, it's fine.
I stopped myself.
So News Now Houston is in jail, yes? Or prison. I'm sorry. Is that correct?
I
don't care enough to
Yeah. I got information about it when it first happened, but honestly, I don't remember the details. He was convicted, sentenced, and from what I understood, there was not a good chance he would get out of jail in this life. He'd probably die in jail, but I didn't look deep into it. I just,
Right. Yeah. It is what it is. I'm always amazed of the people that have criminal pasts that go out and film cops. Now, I understand you're feeling, I've talked to plenty of people that have, been to prison and they're like, dude, I can't, I had a cop get up there and just absolutely lie on the stand and it, and I can understand their vitriol and their resentment and all of that and their hatred towards cops. But, it's just when you've already been to prison, this probably isn't the right thing for you to be doing, but who am I? I mean, everybody has their own path, you know what I mean? You get to do whatever you want to do. I mean, but I have people all the time that are like, hey, Johnny, I'm a female. I live in a small town and I'm just trying to get, somebody else to go out with me and to go out and film the cops. And I'm like, I cannot urge you enough not to film the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially in a small town. Like, they have
unless
special treatment for the ladies, and you guys can all figure that out. And especially in a small town, they got nothing better to do. Yeah. I mean,
I think it's all right if you've got enough money to buy your freedom, because that's what it comes down to. They're going to do something to you. They're going to arrest you. They're going to pick you up.
What if they come and kill you? I mean, what if they come 5 deep, 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah, and it usually depends on who you. I mean, you remember in Albuquerque they used to kill a lot of homeless people, and I'm sure other places too. But I know a little bit more about what's going on in Albuquerque. But and I say homeless people because you're not as likely to get killed if you're a little more well known. These are guys who pick on weak victims or victims that they see as weak. The more vulnerable they see you being, the more likely they are to really do something to you.
Well, but I also think that that's in my very limited knowledge of true crime, I think that's some penny ante minor league stuff to be killing such easy targets. And I think you move up the ladder to getting to be more difficult targets if you're truly in the game.
Okay. All right.
Of killing, which let's face it, a lot of these guys are. I don't know.
Want to hunt bigger game?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You gotta, just like, they talk about like, serial killers, like starting off killing animals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and then you just kind of work your way up and, hey, that link, I just posted the link for, Southeastern PA Community Watch. So he had reached out to me. So I don't think I've ever had him on here. So yeah, I just, I just, these, a
So you
lot
don't
of
so you don't
a
think
lot
it's
of very
worth it to
disturbed.
people
Oh
to go
no,
out
no, no,
and
no, no,
record?
no. No, it depends. It depends. I mean, if you are okay with dying for the cause, then absolutely go for it. But because that's ultimately, um, or them, taking the life of somebody in your family close to you. I mean, that's what might happen first. And then they step to you, at the grocery store, somebody in plain clothes walks up to you in the fucking produce aisle and goes, "Hey, sorry about your kid. You should probably back off this whole police thing. And, otherwise some bad things might happen to you as well." Like, if you don't think that kind of stuff takes place,
Mostly only in California, though.
oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
Thank God you'll never be back here. And James Freeman, do you want to tell everybody why you'll never be back in California?
Well,
You don't have to.
no,
I know
no.
you hate it. You hate
Well,
it.
I'll tell
You hate it.
yeah. I'll tell you both reasons.
And you forgot about the one reason that I told you about.
Yeah. No, the real reason is well, don't get me wrong. California is beautiful. I mean, unmatched landscape, absolutely beautiful place. And it is full of wonderful people. It's also full of some of, in my opinion, the shittiest, mostly on the political level. Anyways, I
Yes.
decided I would never go back to California just because I wouldn't deal with the politics, which is another reason I don't like. But I kind of don't like any place because of the politics, whether it be left or right or whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah, the last time that I went there, I said, no, I'm never going again. But then the trolls started saying, no, you're not going because you have a warrant in Van Nuys. I said, okay, then I'm not going because I have a warrant in Van Nuys. So I guess, yeah, I always forget about that. Because I found out about it from the trolls. They were the ones who served me notice via the internet, via an internet video. Might have been Merb way back in the day.
Yeah, listen, and it's so funny because these are the same people that are like, "Oh, we don't work for the government," and yet they're hitting the reload button on 87 different one of us on whether or not we have warrants in any state. I mean, like, there's there, but they're like, "Oh, but people are like, oh, you guys think the 1A community is worthy of infiltration? Like, you guys sure do think a lot of yourselves." And I'm like, okay, yeah,
Dude,
absolutely.
To the government, anything and everything is worthy of infiltration. If you have an
Absolutely.
illegal backyard chicken breeding operation going on in a city where it's illegal to have more than 2 chickens in your backyard, you're worth infiltrating.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no limit. Come on.
Yeah. All right, Southeastern PA Community Watch. What's up, man?
Hey guys.
I don't know if I've ever seen your face up close. I've seen it in older videos, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting old, getting bald.
No. I mean, older videos like I've seen back when, with you bumping chests out in front of federal buildings down in Philly,
Yeah, getting arrested at the non-federal reserve and the Mint and PGW.
You got arrested at the non-federal reserve?
Yeah, I got arrested at the non-federal reserve. They threw me in a cage for 12 hours, charged me with assault. Blah blah blah. Had to spend 5, 6, 10 grand on a lawyer. Beat the charges. It was kind of weird though because they charged me with defiant trespass and assault, and then when I beat both of those, like 3 months later, they charged me with like interference, and then once I beat that, they charged me with like public nuisance or something. It went on for like 2 years. Okay.
Did any of those charges stick?
Nope, none of them stuck. Beat them all. Sued them in the end, and I really can't talk about it. It's it was a settlement.
Are they were those had to have been federal charges then? Yes, I mean
yeah.
No, that's.
I used to go out there and hand out the truth of the non-federal reserve and what they're all about and how they manipulate our money, quantitative easing, and all this shit, so they can just keep us debt slaves. They didn't like it. Shocker.
Well, and you've got a way of getting under people's skin. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, I do. My wife tells me that all the time. I'm telling you.
And for the three people that are on here that don't know that Southeastern PA Community Watch is the reason that I created my channel. Like I was like on the fence, and I saw all of these like really dry guys like out filming cops and like like what's your reasonable articulable suspicion? And I'm like
name and badge number.
Yeah. Like you're like, bro, like I mean, I'm like, and there's so much room for comedy here. You know what I mean? Like you just and Dan here was I was like, when I saw his videos, I was like, that's it, man. I'm in.
Yeah, I had enough. I'm 61 now. I know the truth. Why there's a gold trim on the American flag. Why our name is all capitalized on our Social Security card. Why we're being, traded as mutual funds, shipping vessels on mutual funds through our QSIP number. On and on and on. It's such a lie and such a fraud put upon us as they just rape us daily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just couldn't hold my tongue any longer. Sorry. So I love going to DC and ripping on the Capitol Police. I'm sure you've seen those videos. I'm not too kind to them,
Yeah.
So I used to go after my local government, and then I started going after the bigger fish, FBI. They'd always say they would come and visit me, but they never did. So I always had to go visit them. Dude,
there's videos. Somebody please post in the chat the videos with Dan stalking the cops that are hiding in the grass. They're like off the fucking they're like in this little turnout, kind of like where you like finger bang your 17-year-old girlfriend when you're 17. Okay. just you know what I mean? Come on. Like I mean, listen, when you're over the age of 18, like finger banging is no longer really on the table, right? You know what I mean? Like you're getting right down to it. Like, come on.
Then I come popping out of the woods, and
Dan comes popping out of the woods, and they're like, what are you doing here? They're like, police stuff, And he was like, it's like, looks like you're doing nothing, coward. You cow.
Well, that's my favorite word, and they all are. Sadly, there's so few stand-up men anymore in this world, let alone on the blue line, terrorist gang. Now you see me getting pulled over by my local state police all the time. I mean, the last 3 or 4 videos of me getting pulled over for, infractions and things like that. And then, I got to take it to court and beat them in court. And it's just so time consuming and expensive and stuff, but
well, that's where they get us. You know what I mean? You just chip away and, you're paying, $5,000, $10,000 here for a defense. I mean, even though even if they drop the charges 6 months down the road, your lawyer's not going to refund you their amount.
Right. You remember that when me and Brian got arrested at the Salem County Correctional Facility.
Right.
They stole all of our equipment. It took over a year to get our equipment back. It cost me well over $12,000 in lawyer fees for a year and a half of them dragging their asses. And, we beat them in court, had all the criminal charges dropped. And sadly, then you got to take it to civil court. And then that's just time consuming.
Well, and what I really love, and this I would love to get your guys' input on this. So my arrest in Santa Barbara, where I got arrested for filming in the public library, after I had vacated the public library, and they were reading me the verbal trespass warning, and I told them to F off, the Nazi guy, Der Fuhrer, came, and he, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Inside voice. And he came, and he, body slammed me, threw me to the ground, and
bloody yeah.
But one of the coolest things is this, and this is worth the fucking price of. So I had a chest mounted GoPro that was still running. They had taken all my other gear off of me, and the supervisor winds up showing up, and he was like, I told him he was under arrest inside the library, which he never did.
They
never
always
did.
lie, and that's why
No,
you gotta
like-
have a camera. They always lie.
Yeah,
Good
it
for
was
you.
like,
That was-
what did he say
the
again?
Bürgermeister burgers. The children will have no toys.
They bloodied you that day, just like PGW bloodied me. You saw
Oh,
that
yeah,
video.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. What
PGW,
hopefully you got paid on that one, right?
Well, okay, so what? It's been 4 years now. We're going to mediation on the 16th.
Jeez.
Okay? Come on.
All
man.
right. So I get arrested, and everybody's like, sue, you gotta sue, you gotta
Yeah,
sue, you gotta
thank
sue, you
you.
gotta sue. Now, I
Try it
could
once.
not, I sent the arrest video, the live stream, to every civil attorney that people, like all of the major guys in the
Another good point.
lower 48, not just California, and nobody wanted to touch it. Like the people in the comments, all you people there, like it is not. You're not, oh, it's a slam dunk civil suit for you.
Johnny, you're 100% correct. It took us forever, or me forever. I've been arrested multiple times for just doing absolutely nothing illegal. So I've always beat the charges. But to find a lawyer who will help you defend yourself in these criminal injustice systems is beyond belief, because they're part of the system. And they don't,
I have a friend of mine who was he worked as he's retired now. He worked as a public defender. Okay. And he told me, because I told him I got arrested, one more time, and and he said, whatever you do, he said, if you start shopping around for criminal defense attorneys and they tell you, oh, I know the judge, I play golf with him on Wednesdays, I'm going to get you a great deal. He said, run, don't walk. Because whose relationship is more important? His with the judge or his with you, who he's never going to you're never going to hire this guy ever again.
Yep.
You're
Unreal.
never going to have an interaction. You're going to be strolling down the path with this guy for a year, maybe 18 months, maybe 2.5 years with the criminal thing, with COVID and everything that went on. But other than that, I'm never going to have contact. So that defense attorney is going to be like, oh, you need me to tell the guy to take, I took a plea deal in my, in my Santa Barbara case. And I am the king of, I ain't taking any plea deals. And then when I realized that my defense attorney, that they're all, nobody's on your side, and
you make a great point about taking plea deals. They've offered me them every time. I've always knew I did nothing wrong, and I was willing to spend the time and the money, okay,
right,
to fight it all the way every time. If I'm not going to, then why be out there? But
yeah.
They really pressure you hard to take a good deal. They really do.
My guy was saying, he was like, all right, well, it was $5,000 for just but if we're going to trial,
okay, that's
we're gonna it's probably gonna be another $7,500.
Thank you. Okay,
so that's the bait and switch that they no because they've got you at that point. You're on the cruise ship at that point.
It is. And the other part is when you're
gonna eat the buffet.
Right.
You're on the cruise ship. You have
that the lawyers won't even touch your case unless it's 6 figures or more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So all these people, you should sue them for your right violations. And sure, we have video proof of their right, my rights being violated, but it's 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand. If you wanted to spend all this time and money, and the lawyers are like, I'm not touching that. Who cares? No. So unless you have bodily injury and all kinds of shit, you're not even going to get a civil suit. Yeah. It's a shame. It's all about money. It's all about extortion. It's all about counterfeit fiat currency. It's all about lies.
And that's one thing that people don't really realize, and also, everyone's like, Johnny, where you been? You haven't been, I'm like, listen, with the few times that I got arrested in LA, I hired a woman named Lisa Houlet, who was an assassin. And she, I remember when on one of the arrests, she was like, Johnny, here's what you're going to do. You are going to disappear. You are not going to publish a video on your YouTube channel. You are not going to do a live stream like this in your office. You are not going to do a live stream at a DUI checkpoint. You are not going to go onto James Freeman's live stream. You are not going to be in James Freeman's chat. You are not going to be in Dan's chat commenting. You are going to disappear.
Yep. Freedom is no longer free, as we all know. And for what we do to awaken people is very dangerous. We're poking the biggest monster right in the vagina. Okay. and I'm telling you, they don't like it. And cameras, I'm not going to go through the whole diatribe. You all know it. Yeah. Anyways, hello, James. Love your work.
Yeah. Have you guys ever met before or on a panel?
Not
like this
really.
Before? Okay.
You know,
you've never brought us together, Johnny, and I blame Johnny for that. So I apologize.
You should.
You don't want to know me, James. I'm trouble. Okay, so
just from what I've seen here, and I've been scrolling through your channel since you jumped on. I'm like, God damn, how did Johnny not introduce me to this guy a long time ago?
My God.
Sadly, I'm way out east. You know, and you guys are way out west, and family. You know,
I should take a trip once the spring, like the real spring, because I grew up in North Jersey, so I mean, you know, people in California, like the spring is like, you know, the end of January. You know what I mean? Like,
well, funny part is I had parents that were in Fremont, which is, you know, San Jose up that way. Yeah. I used to go out every year, and I visited Time to Stand. You remember him? You know, Richard. From way back, and never got a chance to really bump into you when I was going out there, but now they both passed. So
well, and also, I mean, you know, I was hanging out with a crowd that you didn't really think that you were like, and that I realized was not very cool quickly.
How about all the anger back then with High Desert Community Watch? And remember when we first started years ago, there was just a few of us out there, and you know, it was very strange the way people acted. I never.
Yeah, California had a weird clique going on. You know what I mean? And
still do.
And I'm very solitary.
They got a lot of problems still.
Yeah,
I'm pretty solitary for some reason.
Yeah, no, I don't trust anybody. You know what I mean? I have people over my house, and like James came over, and he slept in his fucking truck.
He didn't
out
trust
on the street.
Huh?
No. I tried to finger bang him in the shower. It was only one shower, and it was and it was a real short water heat, real small water heater. So we only had like, you know, 14 minutes of hot water, so we kind of had to like make the most of it, like kind of like Navy ship.
Johnny and I have both been the same like that for a long time. We're like, look, one of us is a Fed, and it ain't me. So,
well, speaking of the olden days, James, I saw your video today, and you had bow at the end of it, and man, I'm telling you, when he was back in the day, oh my God, was he the best? Okay, I'm telling you. He was. I miss him
to this day, man. Some of my favorite times were out with him, man.
Oh, how can it not be,
dude? When you guys were in Vegas, man, like when they stripped his backpack off and stuff like that, he was just screaming like,
"Help! Help!"
I always love when he ran away from the cops and shit, you know, like a Benny Hill and stuff. It was just hilarious, man.
Oh my God.
You know, that's the stuff that I think is lacking today. You know, it was lacking when Johnny started. Johnny really brought that in, and it's kind of faded away. Yeah, you've seen the only recently the one that I've seen that's really entertaining is Tuapre. That is the only one that I will just click every time a video comes up. And it's mixing. It's mixing.
Have you seen his Have you seen his TikToks where he's doing the job interviews?
They're older ones,
and he's drinking.
That was
a beer.
when I started watching him.
Yeah, dude.
Yes,
dude,
when he started
his
doing
impersonation of Long Island Audit.
Yeah, he's so original. He's so good.
Yeah, no,
He's just unbelievable, man.
Genius level, man.
It is.
No, and that's the beauty of it. And, because I mean, I caught so much grief from the California guys of like, Johnny, you're not taking this thing serious, and I was like, dude, everybody's got their, like, if we're all on, the same just salt and pepper diet with no, onion powder, garlic salt, or, whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what made it so great in the beginning, man, when we were out there, the 12 of us or 20 of us and shit. It was so great. Okay. We didn't give a fuck about nothing or nobody.
Yeah.
We still don't get me wrong, but we, like you, like me, we just had enough. We were done with the system, man. It's just that simple. It's time to rage and rail.
How's Wolfie doing? I haven't seen him.
He is doing well. His mom passed last year, who he lived with. He actually had to go get a job.
Here, this is one thing. Like, and you guys might kill me. You and James might kill me for this. One of the biggest insults, right, for end stage capitalism is, why don't you get a job?
That's why I said
it. Or you live in your mom's basement, right? Those are like the two go-tos. I mean, they're totally worn out by now.
Right.
And
I still use them.
I remember watching a TikTok video, and I got on TikTok trying to promote this channel, and I've gotten such an education over there because they're talking about stuff that you won't hear, like news stuff that's going on, worldly stuff that you are not hearing anywhere else that's controlled. Mm-hmm. And there was a gal, and she was in New York City, and she was interviewing other girls that were like going, like kind of bar hopping and stuff. And they were like, "What's the biggest turnoff from a guy?" And then she was like, "Oh, if he still lives at home with mom." And then it did like a little stitch where this other chick came over, and she goes, "I'm from Spain." And one of the best things, like, we live with our parents, like in Spain, in Italy, in Europe, in all of these countries, we live with our family. Like, we still have, like, only in America you ain't shit unless you're making a six figures at age 19, and you are defined by your career.
Well, I'll tell you, you're real close. You're real on point, because there's two things I always said was, when we were young, if you were 21 or 22 and still lived with your parents, you were laughed at. Okay? Right. Now, if you're 40 and you live with your parents, you're applauded. You know what I mean? And
people still look down. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm being facetious. Right. But then I also said that when my parents moved away at 21 and I was on my own, you either sink or swim and become a man at that point.
Correct.
And you do whatever it needs to do to survive, to get by. Right. And there's no welfare. There was none of that shit. Right or wrong, I'm not debating that.
No. But they also, and I remember I was watching this guy, because I got plans to move overseas in a few years. Like, and I was watching this guy. I think he was in Italy, I think, and Italy or Spain, and he was like, "Here's the top 10 things not to ask people at a dinner party," and he said, "Number 1, what you do for a living." Nobody cares.
Right. We didn't care about anything back then.
In Europe, nobody cared. Like, America, we have been indoctrinated by the billionaires, and James and I kind of differ on this a little. Like, I'm like, dude, we have been absolutely indoctrinated by the billionaires that you ain't shit unless you are working.
It's a very materialistic world.
Yeah.
It really is.
Because I always like to say the the American dream is totally, it used to be that, if you put in 40 hours, 60, 80, 100 hours of work, and you really, 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 really grind, and you really, really, really put in the effort, you too can make a millionaire, a billionaire. So get back to that Amazon warehouse.
Okay.
That was not where I thought that was going.
No, that is America. You work hard to make a millionaire a billionaire.
I guess I was never. Johnny, I think that's maybe why we differ, because I've never been a millionaire or a billionaire, but I have exploited the labor of others by their own consent. But that's what being an employer is, right? Is you're literally exploiting the labor of someone else.
Right. That's the nature of capitalism. And there's an economist named Richard Wolff that I watch on TikTok, shockingly, and he was like, there is no way to become a okay. So this is going to blow your fucking mind. Okay, so if you made it was on Columbus Day or whatever their kids are calling it, 1492. So they were like, if you showed up in October of 1492 in the new country and you made $5,000 a day from 1492 to today, you would not be a billionaire. It's the math is like 900 million. Well, then I heard a different one that was like, it's 80,000 BC. And you are a caveman writing cave paintings on the wall, and you make $5,000 a day, or I think it might even have been $10,000 a day. Every day from 80,000 BC, you would still not have as much money as Elon Musk. At $10,000 a day from 80,000. There's, but we're job creators, so we don't need to be taxed. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, because in 1913, when the non-federal tax act was enacted, our dollar was $1. Today, our dollar is worth 3 cents. Okay.
Yeah, and to be fair, nobody should be taxed, because taxation is theft, right?
Okay, it's pure theft. It's nothing but. Okay, yeah. You'll never own your house. I paid off my house, but guess what? I'll never own it. My kids will never own it. My grandkids will never own it. As long as there's property tax and school tax, if you don't pay that, here comes the sheriff.
Yeah,
theft.
And this also so in 2008, when the auto manufacturers were all going bankrupt and we all bailed them out, right? That's not socialism. Because socialism's bad. Right. You can't have socialism up in this bitch called the US of A. But that is absolutely socialism.
Well, reality
however, now that they have made record profits, they are in they don't. Capitalism says they don't have to share any of that with us. Yeah. So they're getting the
pick and choose what they want based on how it's going for them at the moment.
Yeah. If you don't pay any federal taxes, you're a smart business person, or if you get all of these tax breaks and all of that stuff, but if you do that as an individual, you're a loafer, you're a taker, you're a drain on the society.
James does the right thing. He, with his homestead, his chickens, his property,
dude, you should
staying off the grid.
Yeah, he had all that stuff in Dallas even before he went.
While I was still exploiting the labor of others to build it, owning a business and operating a business. Going back to that though, Johnny, it was actually talking to you and a few other people that got me to think about that, and I was like, wait a second. These guys could make more money if they would just go work on their own, start their own business instead of working for me. And besides that, I've taught them everything over. Some of them had been there 5, 6, 7 years. I taught them everything they needed to know to do it. And so I did start talking to some about it. Hey, why don't you start your own thing? You got a non-compete agreement, so you can't take these specific customers that I'm working with right here. But this isn't even an expensive business to start. You're making enough now. Why don't you go do it? And people don't want to. They want to be under somebody else because they feel safer there. They know that if they crash a car, well, this company's got the insurance to pay for it. They could get that too. And I know they could afford it. I know they could build, but my experience was that most people were too scared to get out and even try. They wanted to be exploited because they felt like they were in a safety net while they were
comfortable, safe, no risk. Absolutely. Life's all about taking risks.
Somebody's asking you to bring up the video of searching for the fugitive. That was fantastic. That if you guys don't think, and I remember it was a friend of mine who's was in the military and stuff like that, and he was like, dude, the police are a business. I was like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? He's like, the fire department is a business.
Hey, Johnny, you just had a little put up that little. Someone typed that I should put up my video of me going after the fugitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we loaded our guns up, and we, since the state police in Pennsylvania were spending a month looking for a little dude in a 2-mile radius, we're like, fuck it, let's go. Let's go show them how it's done.
But I loved how he crab walked out of the jail or
wasn't
prison.
that amazing?
Yeah, like
wow. Second time too. Person did that about a month before and almost got out.
Well, so, I mean, you got a lot of time on your hands when you're just
so we we put our ARs on, our pistols. We walked in, and then they stop us. You see the video?
Yeah,
you can't go in there. You can't do our job.
Yeah, we got our fuddy-duddy jobs to
This is too funny, man. I just love trolling these idiots now. That's all you can do. It's over. America's going to burn to the ground.
Yes, it is. Yeah. One of the things in John Singleton's Boys in the Hood, which was, I don't know, what was that, 86, 87, 88, somewhere around there. If any of the exterior scenes, whether it was a daytime exterior, nighttime exterior scene, there was always, and you got to go back and rewatch the movie, there was always a police helicopter in the background. Whether it was right on top of them or in the distance, there was always this drone of the police helicopter. And, I don't know much about, I was never in the military, but I watched like all of these like History Channel and military stuff. And and I know that with any aircraft, for each hour you've got an aircraft up, it takes 5, 10, 30 hours of maintenance on these things. That's all if the LAPD budget was $3.5 billion in 2023, get that fucking helo up, get it up, let's that on my best of Copwatch, we did the one that was unpublished with me and Sab, where they were running the chopper for 2 hours from midnight to 2 a.m. They were spending $2 million for a GTA, for Grand Theft Auto, for a $20,000 car.
Okay.
They spent $2 million in resources.
It's insanity.
It's a business.
We spend trillions of dollars bombing innocent people overseas. We're ruled by masters. Even our politicians are. They're blackmailed. There's nothing that can fix us. Sadly, to be a realist. Nothing.
No, I saw this. And people are talking about like, oh, America, this and that. No, there's something about America and the pedophile. Like, no, that is a worldwide thing. Ring there,
and that should tell you everything. That this is not just a deep state in America. This is ruled by a global
cabal.
Yeah. Okay. And we're all conspiracy theorists. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. I know.
Listen, everything's a conspiracy theory until it's proven true. I mean, look at all the UFO stuff that's going on now with people like, where Navy pilots are testifying in front of Congress going, yeah, that thing went from, it went from sea level to 80,000 feet in the blink of an,
Yeah. I mean, it's they've been lying to us for eons of time. Everything we've been taught's a lie.
Absolutely.
The truth is out there.
Well, but the people in charge have weaved such a lie of what the world is that when you hear the truth, it sounds fucking insane.
It is. It's so mind-boggling, demonic, evil, and incomprehensible, the truth, that no one will believe it, even if you tell them over and over. So, you know what? I'm glad I was born when I was born. I feel sorry for my kids. They're going to have a hell of a time. AI's coming. That's a soul catcher, man. I'm telling you, that's a whole different world.
Dude, when you have a Boston Dynamics robot dancing to "Do You Love Me? Do You Love Me?" and it has like 100 million views in a weekend.
Great point. We go out and risk our lives for freedom and justice, and we get 5,000 views. No. But the point being is, how else are we supposed to introduce the Terminator? Like with the Terminator music and the dong 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 dong. No, with the big smile on your face and go, look, that thing is so goddamn cute. Yep. No one can critically think anymore. We're all brain dead.
I mean, if that is not like, when you couple because those robots were from like 2009 on, of like those pack rat ones that they could push on the ice and they would like correct themselves, and they've gotten obviously progressively worse. Better. And that's just the stuff they're showing us.
Very good. Correct.
I mean, I love you know, I moved out of my parents. I moved out to California in like the end of the fall of 1990, and that was right when the SR-71 did its 64-minute flight from LA to DC and retired. And they were like, oh, well, spy satellites, it's no longer viable. And spy satellites are now doing the work of what the SR-71 did. And the problem with spy satellites is they're in a fixed orbit, so you know when they're good. And they have a finite amount of fuel. So for you, in order to like jettison a satellite to be, you know, go somewhere specifically, it takes like, it's going to be the end of the world. So we're going to reposition the satellite, you know. And so you know that there was, I remember at 24 years old going, oh, there's got to be something better. Like, you know, oh, we retired it.
Yeah, it's amazing. The truth is actually an amazing thing. You and I tore the curtain back years ago, saw hell, questioned it, you know, and was like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, it's I don't want to get into it too much. We could go on for years.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to come out to Philly, man.
Yeah, you're always welcome for sure. Got a big house, you know, plenty of room. Kids finally all moved out. It's me and the old lady. The dog. How are your dogs doing?
They're all right. Poppy had her surgery back a little while ago, got cancer, and then she blew out her fucking. This is the most expensive dog I've ever. She blew out her CCL, which is the equivalent of the ACL in humans. It's the knee tendon, and so and of course now there's, and this is, I'm going to go off on a little rant here. So now there's this new thing at veterinarians where all these dogs are just dropping dead. They're getting pneumonia, they're getting water in their lungs, and like they don't know what it is.
Wow.
And I'm like, is the deep state coming for our pets? Because that's where I fucking draw. You know what I mean? That's where I draw the line, where I'm like, you can fucking kill all the people.
Yeah, leave the dogs alone.
You know what I mean? You know, and so you know, but you know, that they're like, oh, it's a $5,000 surgery to have it done. I'm like, of course it is, you know.
Yeah, my dog cost me at least 10 grand so far. She had a $5,000 surgery also. She broke 6 of my ribs, believe it or not, one day.
Really?
Yeah, I got a small German Shepherd. We were throwing the ball, and she came crashing into me. I flew up in the air. If I was 20 years younger and 20 pounds lighter, I would have bounced up, you know.
Right. But yeah.
Fucking don't ever break a rib, man. If you've ever broken a rib, it's beyond belief. It's your whole breathing, movement.
Right. Yeah, it's like people that have spine shit. You know what I mean? Like you can't do anything with your back fucked up.
I couldn't believe I've broken bones before, but that was the most painful I am for the longest of time. But yeah, it's insane.
You spend money on your money on your pets at the vet, or I mean, this is a new thing to me. I'm out in the country. When our dog gets sick, we're like, oh, it's got a cold. Okay. Let's put it down. We need.
If I didn't have kids and a wife, she would have been buried in the backyard. Believe you me. Okay, after the fucking rib.
These dogs are my heart, dude.
Yeah, we use dogs to protect our food.
Exactly.
Which is roaming around grazing.
You're doing it right, James. Sad, good for you. You know, you really are.
I mean, I don't know. I just, yeah.
You're self-sufficient, and that's what it's all about, man. Okay.
Is it with all due respect to the ABQ? Is that the initials for Albuquerque? Is that the airport?
Yeah.
So with all due respect to the ABQ, if you guys have never been to Albuquerque, it is like the night of the living dead of like fucking meth.
Yep.
Like homeless. I mean, like fuck it. Like, I mean, like deranged people. I mean, like fucking like not.
We're number one for a lot of things, Johnny. So I don't know why you keep bashing on Albuquerque. Number one for car thefts for the last 8 years running. I can get some more stats for you. It's a great place. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't believe
worse. They've been number one for quite a while in car thefts.
Dude,
violent crime just through the roof.
Dude, and you drive around Albuquerque
too. So
you drive around Albuquerque and you're like, I mean, it is just like they're just fucking zombies. I mean, it's not like fucking Kensington. You know what I mean?
Say Frankie Kensington.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like, but a meth version of Kensington. You know,
Well,
not.
sadly,
When was
speaking
the
of
last
that
time you were
era,
there, Johnny? In
Uh,
Albuquerque?
I don't know, a few years. I
Because
mean,
I'm telling you, it's gotten about 10 times worse in the 3-year period from when everything got locked down. I mean, that was right about the time that I got here, and it's just declined insanely since then. So
I don't know what city is really not on the decline, sadly, especially major city. Look at LA, look at San Francisco, look at Seattle, look at Philly, look at Chicago, look at New York, name it.
San Francisco is not bad if you like poop on the streets, right?
Thank you.
Johnny, is that true? Is that, I mean,
yes.
Is it?
Yeah, San Francisco, and San Francisco's a small city. You know what I mean? Like compared to LA, LA's spread out because of the earthquakes. And speaking, we had like a 4.3 today. Which isn't, 5 is when things start like breaking. You know what I mean? But San Francisco is the tenderloin. I mean, it's tough.
Both are beautiful cities, at least back in the 90s and 2000s. I haven't been out there probably in 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm sure it's gotten exponentially worse, believe me.
I think their heyday was probably the 90s, huh? It was probably their peak.
That was so, Hollywood, Johnny? Was Hollywood. And,
well, and I would say that more of the up and coming addresses are probably like down towards Silicon Valley, like a little down towards San Jose. San Jose is a bit of a dive, but there's some really, really, really high end neighborhoods down there with people that are making millions of dollars a month, working in software and shit like that. So.
I always enjoyed Hollywood, the Hollywood Bowl. Saw Rush at the Hollywood Bowl, by the way, Johnny.
I did too. I saw him. What year did you see? I saw him in 2007.
Oh my God! I don't remember yesterday. I smoked too much weed, so I don't really know. I would have to say 15 years ago, whatever year that would be.
Yeah. Probably 07, maybe somewhere around there. And so they, I didn't realize, and people don't realize when they go to the Hollywood Boulevard and they go to the Chinese theater, like Hollywood's a fucking dive, dude.
It is now.
It was 30 years ago.
It really is nothing.
And I was coming from New York, you know what I mean? When before Giuliani cleaned up Times Square, where you could actually go and I still never really understood, how out of options you need to be to like go into like a porn theater. You know what I mean? To like sit down, be like, I'm just gonna kick back.
I was pretty out of options. I didn't have much going.
Well, that's when the mob ruled everything in Jersey and New York. It was so great back then. Philly, are you kidding me? There'd be street bodies on the street at least once a week. Okay, back in the 80s, it was just amazing. They ruled the world back then.
Yeah, but
you think it's better under the mafia or the police?
What's the difference?
I'd say I say mafia. Mafia's got a little bit more of an honor code.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hear that they do.
You know what I mean? Growing up in North Jersey,
I think there's a slight difference. The difference being that I think that the mafia kind of just outwardly operates the way that they do, whereas the police, I think, try to portray this image that they're not a mafia.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But if you look, back, in Godfather kind of times and shit like that, where they were like, listen, we'll do weed and coke, but we're not going to touch the heroin. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they had fucking boundaries. You know what I mean? They had
you want to hear a weird story?
Compass.
I'll tell you a real quick story.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I worked at a pizzeria in Philly, and my boss was Joey Banana's son. Okay, I didn't know that. So we had a Ferrari, and I was 15, 16 years old, and he would always tell me to go take this box of mozzarella cheese to the other pizzeria. And I'd jump in the Ferrari at 16, 17, 15 years old. I'd love it. And turned out I was fucking running heroin, okay, from one store to the fucking next. And I probably shouldn't be saying that, so make sure you edit this out.
The statute of limitations is up. It's not a capital crime, dude. You know what I mean?
It got so bad. My sister was dating him that the FBI actually tapped my parents' phone at home. Okay, and they were going after him, because of all the nonsense and shit. But Insane. So if you heard of Joey Banana, this was his son, and this guy was so high up. Great guy, loved him, Albert Figarelli.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
they operated on with a moral compass, right? more than the police.
For those who didn't live in the 70s and 80s, you certainly missed a hell of a good time. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Well, I remember hanging out. So my best friend, I was over at his house. His parents were celebrating an anniversary or something. This is back in like 2010. And, his parents are like pushing 90 at that point. And I was talking to them and they were like, "Oh, did you know that such and such was in the mob? Like one of the neighbor." And I was like, "He was?" Okay. They're like, "Yeah, he used to walk up all the time and be like," because the guy's name was Maurice, and he'd be like, "Yeah, hey Mo, listen, Mo, what do you need? You need a new stove? What do you need a new refrigerator? What do you need? What do you need? Or washer, dryer? I get whatever you need. I get it for you, man." Like,
it's true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but they were taking care of the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like,
no, of course, we didn't lock our doors back then. The neighbors knew each other. You help each other.
Listen,
Christ, I don't even know my neighbor 3 houses down now. It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just a different code. You know what I mean? So,
it really is.
Yeah,
but going back to the police and everything, to me, they're just nothing but protectors of evil and their masters. Some of them. Well, I live in a township where they're really fair, good, believe it or not. They don't do speed traps. They don't extort. They're kind. They're understanding. But I know what they are. Okay. But as long as they're there to stop freedom from happening, we're done. Everybody's so afraid to go against somebody with that power, and rightly so. And as long as you have those type of men that'll do anything for the counterfeit fiat currency, even killing their own mother, there's no chance of winning. It's just that simple. So to me, they're the ones. So when I go to DC, I can't get into the Capitol building or the White House or anything important to go see my representatives because the Capitol Police are in the way. And I tell them, I don't have a beef with you. I want to go talk to my representatives. And they say, "Get the hell out of here. No way. Go fuck yourself." So then I have to pick a fight with them. And that's not my beef, but I can't get past them. So they're so protected, these politicians. It's just mind-boggling.
And judges. The police are protecting all the worst of them.
That's what I'm saying. So as long as we have those people, and I say police are a necessary evil. They're necessary, but they're evil in my mind. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Right.
Because without them, you would have mob rule. You would have to have gangs.
But with them, we have mob rule.
God knows what would happen to the world.
Damned if we do, damned if we don't. We got mob rule with them.
Thank you. And I'm confused by it, believe you me.
Well, what this is what I'm trying to throw the cops under the bus with, and this was James and I disagreed on this a little bit, where I was like, the billionaires and the oligarchs, and I'm talking like the oligarchs. I mean, the people running the world, not just any regular billionaire, that just happened to
the 0.0001%.
Yeah. That the police are that their job, they're just doing the bidding for the billionaires, and they're taking bullets from all of the, they want to talk about like, oh, look at all these like miscreant lowlifes and stuff like that, and all these like drug addicts and stuff like that. Like, great, you have been for $40,000 a year, which not in California, but the rest of the country, for $40,000 a year, you're going to be taking bullets and getting spit on by these people, and because. And I'm trying to let the police know, like, listen, I just want to let you know that the billionaires who will never know your name appreciate your service. I mean, they don't really, because you're totally
expendable
and expendable. Yes, to them.
Trash, garbage.
But you just let that sink into these cops of like, I'm getting used. I can't tell you how many of my friends that were former military that were like, they're like, listen, the dirty little secret with quite a few people that were in combat, especially, were like, we got fucking used.
Mhm.
We were, what the fuck? You know, there's guys, I'm watching these videos with these Marines saying that they were in Afghanistan guarding poppy fields for big pharma.
They did. Then they'd fucking cut them down, process it, and throw it on Air Force planes to drop over America. Guaranteed. I have the same stories. Know them by heart.
And so they're like, wait, so my buddy got blown up by an IED 4 months ago, but what are we here for? Like, we're here for oil. We're here for poppies.
Sure as hell ain't freedom.
You got that.
I can tell you our freedom wasn't there.
We needed to kill 1 million Iraqi civilians. You know, like, I mean, we are
war's big business, man.
Right. Not for me and you, because we're the ones that come back missing limbs and stuff like that. But it's big business for the people that listen. When you run the military industrial complex, you supply the bombs for both sides. So
you may see my videos of me going to Boeing and places like Lockheed Martin, and oh boy, they don't want anybody around them.
Those are the only private businesses I like to see audited. I don't even, but yeah, you see these guys like auditing or recording at private businesses. I'm like, God, leave them. But you go after those contractors.
That's the only ones I'll go after.
I love that.
Yeah.
I went to Lockheed Martin, and there's a whole compound in Redondo Beach, and there's all these different houses. There's a huge, massive building where they, you know, have all their UFOs and shit, you know, and then there's one separate building, and it says directed energy weapons. And my whole thing, you know, I don't know if you guys saw all that shit with fucking Maui and like how they were cars that were burned that were in the middle of a parking lot that were nowhere near anything.
Colors were burnt, certain colors were not.
Right. But like there was nothing combustible around this car. How did this car, you know, just like totally not, and I'm thinking to myself, for anybody that's like, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Well, okay, so tell me, what is the practical application of a directed energy weapon? In that was, I saw that back when me and Monkey dressed up as a fucking in a onesie, a white unicorn onesie, and we went down there, and that was in 2018. You know what I mean? And so
some people say the towers were taken down by that type of energy to turn everything into dust. I'm not going any further than that.
Yeah. You know? I mean, you know, I think it was, I still believe maybe that it was, you know,
but the video I love of when you were going after the government was when you were in Jersey. There was some kind of server building there or something.
It was the New York Stock Exchange data center. It's in Mahwah, which is the town that I grew up in.
That's a great video, man.
We should go back up to that one, dude.
Well, I wanted to. That's pretty far north from me. Okay.
Yeah. Was that like
near Montauk? That's like where they have the island.
Where?
Was it in Montauk where they have the island?
No. Montauk is at the end. That's the tip of Long Island.
Oh, okay.
No. That's Montauk. Mahwah is is the last exit on the Parkway, exit 172. So it's on the border of New York State. So if you take the 287, it's not that far off the 95, and you know you can hit Route 17 and go north from there. So what happened was after 9/11, they realized that putting anything on the island of Manhattan was a really bad idea, because they were talking about dirty bombs and shit, like, you know what I mean? And like, what if this place is irradiated for the next 400 years? So they moved the data servers and they built this building from scratch that is like, they have like a false wall. So if you stood up in a pickup truck and shot an RPG into the wall, like, you're not gonna, you know,
they love spending our money.
Yeah. So they didn't take too kindly to that, you know. And
it's kind of wondering why they were so bitter. You were just on the sidewalk, not even near a building, you know. They can fuck with you.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and listen, in all due respect for the Mahwah police, my parents were elderly. My parents were 92 when they passed away back in 2017, 2018, and my parents used to before they had, like, you know, people living in the house with them. My dad had some dough, and you know, he had some aides living in there for these women from Georgia, not like Atlanta, but like Georgia, like Russia, Georgia.
Okay.
He got AIDS from women from Georgia.
Yeah, he got AIDS. Exactly. No, and my dad not knowing, like, you know, my dad was born in 25, and he was saying something like, "Oh, you're Russian," and like the and the woman was like, that she was like, the Russians killed my husband. My husband was an activist, and they killed him. So all of these other provinces, you know, like Armenian, Estonian, all the, you know, and you know, point to, you know, he didn't really know any better, and you know, and but you know, when my mom would like fall over, my dad was too, like, they called the police. I mean, my sisters had like the 4-digit code to get into the garage door so that the police could come. I mean, the police were there every couple of months, like standing. The Mawa police were there standing, you know what I mean? So, you know, out of
well, you're right. Just look at HARP, H8. You know.
Oh, don't even get me started on the weather manipulation stuff.
So.
Did you know? Okay, I didn't know this. Did you know that there is a I don't know if it's a Geneva Convention or it's something in the UN that it is illegal to weather manipulation is illegal in the eyes of the UN? Like back in like 1971. Like Vietnam era, they were like, listen, you can't use modified. You can't modify the weather for warfare and try to flood people out of a tunnel system, and that's considered
earthquakes.
That's don't even.
I mean, or fires, or you know,
yeah.
It's just fucking beyond, man. It's beyond demonic. I'm sorry, they're all demons. I always joked and said demons walk among us. Really
James, hit your mute button.
What's he doing? Hit his
shit.
I hear something. Bongs kill me now, man. I do a bong rip. I'm done. Okay.
Dude, listen. Listen.
Yeah.
Dan and I'll be 57 in 2 weeks. Dan and I got like, if you had like a 3-finger lid and it was 80% seeds and stems, you would be like,
God, that dirty Mexican shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was like you didn't get high. I remember I remember smoking weed. So I just celebrated 27 years sober, but I remember smoking weed when I was like 95, and I was like, this is some genetically engineered. Like, I mean, it was real weed. You know what I mean? Like what they have now. These kids now, like, I don't even know how you're walking.
We had like compressed Mexican weed. They would take it over the border in bricks.
Yeah.
And it would just be seeds crushed up in the fucking nasty weed.
Yeah.
And
no THC was harmed in the making of that bag.
God, there's paraquat on it and shit. And it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, here back in the 70s, the average strain was like 3% THC. And the stuff that I'm picking up today, like the lowest is probably 15%. The other day I smoked a joint that was infused in whatever, it was 48% THC.
Yeah. This is 28. What the hell is it called? It's called cinnamon Buddha.
Of course it is.
Good shit.
Of course it is.
It's clean though, you know. I mean, I didn't smoke that much at all when I was younger. I think I tried it like 3 or 4 times in my life, until about 8 months ago. And I hated it every time. That was back in the 90s, and it probably wasn't quite as bad as what you guys were smoking, but it was full of stems and seeds and. But I just never liked it, and now everything's changed now though.
Yep.
Corey Peacock, just let me have my. I'm just showing my age.
Yeah, 4-finger halves. You know? Shit, I could buy a £1/4 for $1.20. I'd sell 3 ounces and keep the other ounce from my head. You know, so I'd make my money back and keep an ounce. It was great for $1.20, £1/4. You kidding me?
Listen, at the end of the day, the police arrest serial killers, murderers, rapists, child abusers, child rapists, drug dealers, steroid freaks, because they don't like competition.
There you go. Good point.
You know,
well, I always said cops had the best drugs or the best weed.
Oh, absolutely.
Back in the day. But cops were a whole different back then. All the police I ran into were gentlemen. They were professional. You can watch a show like Adam 12 or any of these old shows, you know, that cops, were reprimanded when they did shit wrong. You know, they were upstanding people. I don't know if that was just TV, but it was a whole fucking different world, and it was so enjoyable, man.
Well, but then the oligarchs, the Illuminati, whoever you want to call them, they were like, listen, we need to bump it up a little bit. You know what we're going to do? We are going to create a bank robbery in North Hollywood in the spring of 1997.
That was insane.
Where the guys have full body armor from their clavicle down to their ankles with AKs with armor piercing rounds, firing at the police choppers circling overhead, because all that LAPD had was like 9mm or 45s, and they went into some local gun shops and they were like, the Gary Oldman, give us everything, you know what I mean? Like, and so now that was the justification for the militarization of police.
And that's what it is.
So people think that was an that wasn't a staged event or like that. I mean, come on, man.
You know, when I went to school, nobody carried a gun. Nobody carried a knife. If you had a beef,
you punched it out. You punched each other out in the fucking face, man.
You know, now, my God, there's metal detectors and shootings, and then to me, it doesn't make sense. But
yeah, I grew up in the 90s, so if you get picked on, you just go and shoot up this school. You know, nothing.
Okay, what the fuck is that, man?
No, that kind of did start becoming a thing in the 90s, though.
Has to do with a lot of the pharmaceutical drugs they're pumping into these kids, the SSIs and all this other shit, you know, and this brainwashing of transgenderism, and you're not who you are. And
but I also think that those are also a lot of those shootings, mass shootings, are also ops.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that, you know,
just like the kidnapping of the Michigan governor. In the end, the truth came out that they pick on weak people who are maybe politicized, don't have a lot of money, you know, and then talk them into doing shit and, you know, pay the whole way. And it's just a psyop. Everything's a psyop. What's not a fucking psyop? Okay.
Or I mean, like if you
right now,
I know if you remember, back in the 70s, I remember there was some movie or something like that where there was some guy like in the military, and like and the phone rings and he picks it up and he's like, the sheep will sing at high noon, and all of a sudden the guy, like, you know, like fucking mind control shit, you know what I mean? The guy starts like fucking shooting all of his
I believe Sirhan, who shot Robert Kennedy, was mind controlled.
Absolutely.
You know, shit like that. So yeah, MK Ultra, go on forever.
Oh, absolutely.
Projects, you know, it just never ends. It's just.
Well, I love again. They were like, "Oh, MK Ultra, yeah, it worked a little bit. We stopped it in the mid '70s because it wasn't working."
You know, Philadelphia. I forget what.
Just like the SR-71
was used as they would. Given prisoners a bunch of acid, so the CIA and the government was using the prisoners in the prison to as guinea pigs. Shocker there.
Yeah,
and very well known story. I forget the prison, Holmesburg, I think it is. Whatever.
Well, and the amount of like organ harvesting that takes place in prisons is staggering, too. Also, you've seen Stranger Things. You ever seen that show?
Stranger Things on TV?
Yeah, it came out. It was like out like 6 years ago or so, about this little kid that's like part of this thing, which it was based on a true story. It was supposed to be called Montauk because out by Montauk, way out on Long Island, there was this facility that was doing sorts of top secret.
They still got shit floating up on the shores every so often.
Yeah. So
but that was about the kid was about that area, about that building. The show you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, Montauk's a whole nother thing. That supposedly was going on there was space travel, like, you know, just going to Mars and back, you know, and actually half the stories are just so mind-boggling. It's like the Philadelphia story, you know. It just goes on and on.
So what were they doing with the acid with the people in prison, trying to see if they could
how
if they
how
could get
far
them
they can
enraged
go,
and said, like, would
what
they
they
be able to
can
rip
do.
somebody's head off? Like, because these would be the
pretty
people
much
that,
anything, because that's when acid was kind of just discovered back then, back in the late 50s, early 60s, and they knew it would work positively for them somehow, and they were just giving it to see the effects, how much, deprivation, 20 hits a day, God knows, it's just impossible. But then there was a big lawsuit after the fact, and similar to how they were poisoning people in Chicago back in the day from the rooftops. They were pumping up some gas or something. I don't know if you ever heard about that. It's just,
no.
We're nothing but guinea pigs, sadly.
Genesis, you still have your wrench, yes? Are you still not?
Oh yeah, she does. That was the
Yeah?
comment I was
Okay.
just looking at.
Yeah,
too.
no. So also for all of the mods, I don't know if you guys were here when I first started. So apparently I haven't been live in forever. YouTube it had a big announcement that said that you can now time out someone anywhere from 10 seconds to 24 hours.
Wow.
So when you guys are timing out people, will you please tell, like, do you get to put in the amount, like, I don't know.
And make sure that they're all 24 hours.
Right.
No, that's fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Johnny, do you get a lot of trolls, man?
In my live chat or on my comments? My comments, I always not really. The mods are these guys are pro level. You know what I mean? Genesis
I like
loves
when
to
I
play
get
with
trolls,
her food.
though.
Yeah, they know when they know my tastes, and so they know when it's okay and when when I'm just gonna destroy somebody, you know what I mean, and just have fun with them. Just like I'll always pin a troll comment, like always.
Okay, right.
You should get a job. Sometimes get a real job.
And they help your viewership go up. The more comments they make,
absolutely,
that's part of the algorithm. I specifically have videos that YouTube tells me, hey, this video is reaching a wider audience because there's more interaction or whatever with it. So,
well, you guys all remember that gal from Facebook that went in front of Congress and she said, we love controversial content. And that was like what, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, she's like, we love controversial content because it generates, people,
it generates sales to them, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it generates an engagement. I mean, people are like, it's like, I
don't have enough subs to have trolls, so good for you guys, man.
Like, I mean, a friend of mine was telling me, they were like, dude, like the audit channel, they were like, it's fucking genius. Half the time they side with the auditors, half the time they side with the police. Everybody's happy and everybody's sad. All, you know what I mean? Like,
there you go. Best of everything.
Yeah. I mean,
these bitches like having their emotions.
Well, that way you have actual cops in your, you know what I mean? Like, you'll get cop viewership, I mean, you'll double your audience by that way. So,
Yeah, I never cared what anybody thought of me, and that's probably one of my biggest problems.
Yeah, no.
Or one of your biggest strengths,
Yeah, I couldn't care less, but I hear you are correct.
Yep. Yeah. What do you think your greatest strength is?
Clown Patrol. I've been watching for a long time. This is the first live I've ever caught. I couldn't believe it. Mods, will somebody ban this guy? I'm just kidding.
You've got such a funny chat.
I haven't been paying attention to the chat at all, you guys. So if you guys are brand new to my channel or the First Amendment stuff, press 1. If you've been here a while but have not been in any of these lives, press 2.
Wait a minute.
Who.
Which question for both of you guys? I got a question. You both have stopped kind of going out and doing what we used to do. Similar.
I'm scared.
I've cut it back quite a bit also.
I'm scared.
What's the reasons for you two guys for cutting it back a little bit?
I got arrested and my lawyers told me to disappear. Because if you don't think that LAPD knows about my arrest in Santa Barbara, even though it's 100 miles away, and any other infractions, and they'll arrest you for anything. And one of the things that I stress repeatedly to people is there's people running around, the James Freemans, that are like, oh, interference is a physical act. That is true in other states. In California, it can be verbal. My attorney, Lisa Houlet, was like, no, this is not Arizona or New Mexico or Texas. Interference is if you're just distracting the cops. Like if you're like, when I was yelling to those guys that were like, that looked like they were in handcuffs on that Copwatch, and I was like, don't let them search your car. And the cop was like pushing me back. She's like, you absolutely can get arrested for that in California. That is the definition, the PC 148A1, which is interfering, resisting, or delaying a peace officer. So you delayed that. Like, so whereas other states have where, you know, so that was one of the reasons. And I mean, really, honestly, I've been Boone News. Thank you very much, man. I've been a photographer since I'm 18, since 1985. That's when I graduated high school. And I've been in the business. You guys can see it behind. I've been in the business of like photographing like half naked chicks poolside most of my career. And I really want to get back into doing that.
I don't blame you, man.
And I would like to create a YouTube channel doing that and being all over the world. And
the reason why I asked is, and we'll let James explain his, but I'm just jonesing for the old stuff. It was. I'll
come. Listen, I'm going to fly. Chat. How many of you guys want to see me fly out to Philly? Because if
man, you better.
How far? How you're what? Philly's like what? 3 hours from Mawa, which is like
not even. I can get to New York City in 2.5 at most. And that's from, you know.
Yeah, and we would be going up to 287. We'd be bypassing
hour and a half, 2 hours away. I drive. Yeah. You're in my car.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Where you go? Newark Airport?
Yeah, it's probably a half hour north of that.
Oh, okay. But all right, I would just pick you up at the airport. I was
No. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I would fly into Newark. No, I'm not flying into JFK or LaGuardia. That's
or Philly.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You could, but if I'm picking you up, you could. But anyways, yeah, you got to get your fucking ass out of here. We've always wanted to meet each other in person.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things too in Los Angeles, in 2018, when I was new, every address had been hit in Los Angeles County, and I'm talking thousands. Like I remember when like I was on speaking terms with Furry Potato, and she was like looking, and I was like, dude, everything's been hit.
You were late to the party, man.
Every police station, we've been to every police station. We've been to every sheriff's department. We've been to every fucking CHP.
I don't have that problem out here. You guys were inundated with auditors in California.
Right. Okay. And they just, they know better. And that's why the guys in California are going to fucking tow yards.
Gotcha.
Because, which, listen, I'm not,
nursing homes.
Okay.
Dude, who would go to a nursing home?
If they're not extorting me.
That was for the other channel where I told you I photograph naked women. That's why I go to the nursing homes.
How depraved do you have to be to show up to a nursing home? Anyway, James Freeman and I showed up to a nursing home outside of Dallas. That was, if you guys don't remember that video, that was the video. That was the first video where
that was an accident.
Where we ignored. No, it was an accident because we did because right next door was
it was a contractor. Well, I can't remember which one.
Place you wanted to go.
What's the calculator place? The huge Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments had a fucking compound. They have like 5 compounds in Texas, and they have this huge one in fucking Dallas. And so we were walking. So we had parked our car like a fucking click away. You know what I mean? So we don't want anybody to get our plate. We don't want anybody to know who we are.
Right.
God forbid they call up YouTube and say, "Can we get the AdSense account for Mr. Olsen? Is that Olsen? Okay, 10821 Huston Street. Okay, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, so so we had parked far enough away. And so
about a block away inside of a little.
And so we were walking past this fucking nursing home, and James saw security up there, and Furry was with us, and James fucking pointed his camera, and they fucking Fish on, baby, fish on,
fish on.
And we weren't going to say no. I mean, you want to be the star of the show. We had no clue where we were at. We didn't find out until later.
I can't even believe. I'm not even
my
going to
rule
read
was
that out
always.
loud. I'm not even going to read that out loud. Thank you for the super chat, but no, like there's a line.
I never got post offices. That's just me. If they're not extorting me, I don't have time for them. You know what? There's so much real.
That video, that was the first video, and I will go to my grave that was where I was like, James, Furry, shut up. We're not going to say a word. And the cops came up to us and they started talking, and we just started talking amongst ourselves. And that was the first video. And I've seen other auditors do it, and it's fucking. And so I just want to go on record that I and James was there. It was my idea. James was there. Furry was there. And it was like, that was the first time that ever took place. That was February of 2018. And we just started, I was like, man, have you ever flown on fucking, what was it, on Virgin? I mean, there's like no white lights, like purple and red gel lights. It's like you're at a club, man. It's like,
yeah, what could be more fun than knocking on the FBI's door, or the CIA's doors, or the Secret Service's doors, or IRS's doors? That's fun. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. That's just me.
That's what it was about to me too. I got tired of being screwed with by the government, and I said, dude, you're so annoying. Did you know that I can also be so annoying? I mean, wouldn't you just leave people the hell alone? That's what I would really like, is if I leave you alone, you leave me alone, we all, do our own, but you won't ever leave us alone. Government won't ever leave us. So, poke back.
Great point. We can be more annoying than they.
So there's a lot of places to hit in Philly.
Oh my God. You know the area. There's a township every fucking 5 miles. Okay.
Right. And they're all like independent. They're
Pennsylvania's all like, so weird. We have to buy our alcohol at the state store. We got to buy our cases of beer at the distributor. We got to buy a 6-pack at a fucking bar. We're so.
You can buy a 6-pack. You can buy to go alcohol at a bar.
You can buy a 6-pack of beer. That's the only way you can get a 6-pack, is to go to a bar and buy it. Yeah.
Wow.
If you want a case, you got to go to a distributor. If you want hard alcohol or wine, you got to go to a state store.
That's weird.
That's in Pennsylvania.
I grew up in
California. I can go buy beer and wine in fucking 7-Eleven.
Costco.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. When I go out west, I'm like, this is great.
Well, it's interesting because I grew up in Bergen County, which is in North Jersey, and they have a blue law. So on Sundays, everything is closed. And so they back when I was living my dream, selling cookware for a living. Johnny, what do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a policeman, fireman? You want to walk on the moon? No, I want to sell cookware. It's like Costco's and military bases. And so I was at a BJ's, which is like a Costco or a Sam's. They're based out of Boston. And if you go into the BJ's on a Sunday in there, they have all of the food is open, and they literally have that orange mesh net stuff across
alcohol.
No, across all of the other stuff. Like, so you can't go buy a bicycle.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it's closed. It's Sundays. So they literally, because if you go into any of those big box stores in the Sam's, they have food on one side and the hard goods on the others. They have a fucking fence, a temporary fence they put up on Sundays.
Well, we can always go to Intercourse, PA, and audit the Amish. That would be interesting.
I see. I've always respected the religion shit. Other than Scientology, which was in hindsight a really bad idea, because audit. I mean, if I'm seeing this, there's a guy, Film Police LA, who's doing like nonstop live streams on TikTok and stuff like that outside of Scientology, and I'm like, him and some other dude, and I'm like, God bless you, dude. You have no idea. You think the police will come in like in the middle of the night? Like, I mean,
well, Nasty Nate was a big Scientologist botherer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, him and the Angry Gay Pope.
Okay. Yeah, religion is another interesting thing. I was raised and born Catholic, went to 12 years at Catholic school, but as a free-thinking adult, I realized that religion kind of got in the way of the truth. There's so many religions, so many gods. They all want money to save your soul. You know, so interesting little theory about religion. You know, there is a higher power for sure. Call it what you want. You know, I'm not going to kill someone because you don't believe in my God.
Right.
It's just everything's polluted.
Well, and I've watched these like near-death experiences where people that have died, and they're like, there's only one God.
Yeah.
Like I met him. Like we all have different stuff while we're here, but it's all the same.
We're all just energy.
Thing.
We're all just energy.
But it's
on
the
a
same.
frequency.
There's only one. Like it's. Yeah. We have different paths to get. You know what I mean? But like, and when I heard that, I was like,
oh. I mean, who says that if Jesus was the son of God, was Buddha the son of God, was Muhammad the son of God, was Allah the son of God? We're all sons of gods. You and I are all sons of gods.
Yeah.
You know, so just get over it, people, and treat each other respectfully, properly.
Yeah.
You know, there is a higher power. You know, this is not the end. Death is not the end, believe it or not. You know, not that I know for 100%, but.
Dude, I've watched hundreds of near-death experiences, and they all say the same thing, that this is like a video game where our higher selves are at the controller, seeing the bigger picture,
nice.
and we're Zelda.
Okay.
And we're terrified going down to go fight the fucking dragon, because that's all we see. We don't see.
That's a good point.
And we don't, and they talk about like, well, but the higher self is going, well, we need to fight the dragon in order to level up.
Gotcha. Well, you know, we only perceive through our senses. So,
yeah,
you know, we live in this world of perception, and our spectrum of sight is so weak compared to what's out there. We don't see radio waves or Wi-Fi or any colors, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, so it's really, even Elon Musk says we're living in a simulation. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't care.
That's similar to what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like we're in a video game.
Right.
Like,
that's why I brought it up. Exactly. Yeah. And I don't care.
I think Elon Musk is a fucking tool, but that.
Yeah. I hear. Well, you know, anybody that's been involved with the government through space programs, as long as he has, has got to be compromised. Okay. To some extent. I think he's more of a pretend friend. You know.
Well, he never really invented anything. Like, he didn't invent PayPal. He came in and put his name on it. He's like the you know, there was I forget
the Albert Einstein of Tesla.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like he didn't really create anything in Tesla. He didn't really invent anything in SpaceX. You know what I mean. There's a lot of other people that actually did it. He just came in and put his name on. And
it was Edison.
Elon Musk had something to do with PayPal.
Yeah,
he was
that was one of his
original.
First. Yeah, one of the first ventures that he
founders did, when he sold it off or got kicked out.
That was after his apartheid fucking Ruby mine. Oh, did I say that out loud? You know, I like when some journalist was like, I'm gonna give, like, they put a bounty, I don't know, it was like $5,000-$10,000, something like that, or $100,000 for anybody that can come forward and tell Elon Musk's past, and his fucking father fucking his estranged father was like, I'll tell you guys everything.
That's great.
Hey, Johnny, I don't know for sure or not. Are you allowed to smoke tobacco on camera on YouTube?
I don't know.
Cause I don't know. I do it on my channel. I just wasn't trying to get yours in trouble.
No, I don't, dude. You think I won't delete this thing in like 5 minutes after it's over, like if I need to?
I realized I did it earlier anyways, and it's just tobacco. But I'm not sure though if YouTube cares about that stuff at this point or not.
I'll just go off screen.
States where it's legal, because I know that they used to. Their standpoint on it used to be everything was age restricted or even deleted when you did that, because Tuck Police Suck did it all the time. But I think it's changed though.
I never thought I'd live today to see marijuana as legal as it is. That's amazing. I was getting arrested for a half a joint and getting a year in jail back in the 70s.
Dude, I love you guys all heard I don't know if it was even leaked audio, but the guy who was on Nixon's cabinet talking about like, oh no, we totally invented the drug war. We marijuana for all the hippies and heroin for all the black people.
Believe it or not, it started with the Hearst, the newspaper guy, Hearst Castle. That guy.
Okay. You're right. Yeah, another Illuminati.
And then he propagandized against it. That's where Reefer Madness came from, and all this other nonsense. And you know,
my kids love that shit. Love it. Dude, those are some of the best comedies today. You know.
Okay.
Good point.
They had no idea that they were making comedy films, but yeah.
That's also a good point. Oh, the weed was so demonized. Oh my God. You know,
Yeah,
went
just
to
one
jail
more
for
of the
selling
lie.
weed. Okay.
Prison.
I would say more than 2/3 of the people in jail back in the 70s and 80s and 90s and probably even the 2000s were for marijuana offenses, man.
Yeah.
Growing, selling, smoking, buying. I always said, you know, for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. So
Yeah.
if I sell you a joint, we're both cool with it. Who's harmed? Nobody. If John wants to pay a chick and she's cool with it, who's harmed? No one.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally for sex work being legalized. You know what I mean?
Me
Like
too.
it's not, you know, and people forget the word work is in sex work. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're trying to fucking polish a knob on some fucking 300-pound guy that's like 65. You know what I mean? And you know, can't even see his own junk. You know what I mean? Like that's
oldest occupation in the world.
Been there. Yeah, it's work.
Extra good citizen. Thank you very much. They're not going to record themselves. All right, man. Good to have you here, man.
Yeah, it's all about caging and filling the for-profit prisons. Blah blah blah. Yeah. And you know, believe it or not, I'm going to sound crazy, but the Act of 1871 turned us from a government to a corporation. We are called USA Inc. We are not a government. Ever since the 13 states left the Union before the Civil War, where the government could no longer represent the whole country and all the people like they're supposed to, and then the North forced the South to come back, you know, blah, blah, blah. We have, they can't make law. They make policies and statutes, and the second definition of the statute is policy. Okay, so when they say it's our policy, it's my statutes, that's your fucking problem. I'm not a corporate employee. Okay, and they don't get it, and they don't give a fuck, and they'll throw you in the cage anyway. So you're not going to
win. They don't get it. That's the thing. I see guys try to explain stuff like that to the police, though. Like he dude just came out of the theater from watching Barbie movie. He doesn't have a goddamn clue what's going on around him. Okay.
and you asked me about Brian a while ago, Wolfie. So he has realized finally that no matter what anybody does, nothing's going to change. And so he kind of got disheartened a little bit about his activism. And
who was that?
He's
Wolfie Gladly.
Oh, yeah, Wolfie Gladly.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. I dug fucking hanging out with him, man. So educated, you know, so smart, so witty. Just a brilliant guy, believe it or not. Still a good guy. Still talk to him. Still, you know, we go out here and there. But now that 2024 is going to blow up and light the world on fire, our cameras are charged. We're making plans. A lot of rallies, a lot of nonsense, you know, blah, blah, blah.
He just found out that he's not going to change anything?
No, he found out about a year or two ago. I'm being a little facetious. He always knew, but, you know, with all the arrests, with all the money, he's not a rich guy at all. Okay.
Yeah.
It just wasn't beneficial. YouTube cut all of our pay in like 100, you know, so no one's making any money, at least whatever. And he was having a hard time trying to make ends meet. And
yeah,
it's just not worth the battle sometimes, you know, for people.
Yeah.
But he promises to get back out. Who knows? I'm going to grab him and we'll go back out.
Yeah,
I tell people all the time. Sorry, go ahead, Johnny.
No, just tell him I'm coming out in the spring.
You better, man. I've been promised San Joaquin Valley was coming out. Finn was supposed to come out. You know, all these people.
Well, I'm going to bring my drone. I'm going to bring my drone too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like we'll go to the Limerick power plant and fly it over there and see what happens.
Well, there's a fine line on because they start saying that it's critical infrastructure,
exactly.
Which is still kind of a gray area with the drone stuff. You know what I mean? But like,
we can go to the prisons. I love prisons.
Oh no, you can't fly anywhere near prison.
Love prisons, man. They hate me. I love them. I do. Yeah, we can go to Harrisburg, fly it over all the fucking pussies out there, all the criminals. Harrisburg ain't too far. About an hour and a half ride.
Yeah, just flying it anywhere will gets people fucking triggered.
I hear you. You were one of the first ones that got it, Joan. I mean, I remember Tom Zebra had one.
Oh, dude, he had one. Fucking dude, He flew one over the Hollywood police department, like over the Hollywood station on Wilcox over there. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised more people didn't get drones. Yeah.
He also flew one at the LA air. So LA has an Air Force base that nobody knows about, like, because they don't fly planes out of it. It's like their Space Force is based at and I've gone down there to he brought his fucking drone. He flew his drone over. I mean, it is a fucking pretty top secret. It's right next to LAX, the airport. Wow. And now, I mean, they passed the drone laws in 2014 that you can't be anywhere near a fucking airport for obvious reasons. But I mean, even if you're fucking half a mile from the fucking air, if you're 50 feet in the air, you're not in the flight. If you're not in the flight path of these Good fucking, point. you know what I mean? But there was, just some helicopter that hit a fucking drone, and I saw it on some drone forum where they were like, oh, it was $60,000 worth of damage. The helicopter was flying at 180 feet. And I'm like, I don't know much about aviation, but I do know that they don't generally go under 500, and we're not allowed to go over 400. So there's that 100-foot buffer.
Right.
Not that they don't just teleport from ground level to 500 feet, but still, I mean, and the job of a drone operator is to get out of the way of any manned aircraft. But they want to demonize that shit fucking left and right. So thank you very much, Kata. Appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, you haven't been out here in a while, anyways, man. Right? When's the last time you? No,
well, my parents died my dad died in 2018. So in May, the end of May of 20. So I haven't been back since. You
were gonna come out. I remember you and I were talking a while back, and something happened.
Yeah, I forget what. Well, my wife didn't survive longer. You know what I mean?
You were kind of making plans to come visit. And something happened, but good. Get your ass out here, buddy.
We'll definitely,
we'll go visit the Liberty Bell and the Independence Hall and all those nonsensical nonsense. Best part is there's the federal courthouse is right next to it. We can go knock on their door, and there's a federal prison right next to it. We can go. We always walk in there, and that's always a fun time. And non-federal reserves right around the corner.
Okay. I'd also like to just try to go to some spots in a little more suburban police stations and no. I have no problem being downtown Philly.
Yeah, there's so many small police stations, townships that just litter the whole area that I haven't even touched.
I mean,
I think fucking the dude from New York, what's his name? The popular guy,
Long Island Audit.
Thank you. Yeah. I think he's been more townships in my area than I have. That fucking guy travels around, man.
Yeah. No, and he just had that case in New York City with the being able to film in the bravo
lines down. Yeah, they were really arresting anybody. I saw 3 or 4 or 5 different auditors getting arrested in New York during that time frame.
I always wonder, like, I mean, we've got some guys in Florida, we've got guys in Texas, Phoenix, Arizona. Like, there's not really anybody. There were a couple of guys up in Portland way back when. There's nobody really in Seattle. There's nobody. I mean, there's Joe Cool in Chicago, a couple of people in Chicago. But there's nobody like from New York. Like,
there's nobody in Delaware.
New York. I've seen some couple of New York City guys, but not
There's really nobody in Delaware. There's very few in New York. There's very few in Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Lucky.
New Jersey, very few, if any.
Like DC, is there anybody
no DC, no Maryland. Maryland was that one black guy. What the hell is his name? Got arrested a while ago. He was really hot. Fucking not Joe Cool, but I forget his name. He got arrested and they threw him in a cage for like 20 years. But yeah, and then what's in South Carolina? What's in North Carolina?
There's News Now, South Carolina.
Oh, good point. He's pretty big. So
yeah, I love the fact that he was like open carrying as a black guy, in the South. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, listen, I'll really believe that the NRA is not a completely when I see Wayne LaPierre like promoting, the hashtag of black open carry. That's when I'll realize that it's not just a fucking Ku Klux Klan front.
I think they shut him down for a while because he's been pretty quiet.
Oh yeah, he has
put a video out about 6 months ago saying he was coming back, but I haven't seen it.
And North Carolina Tyrant Hunter. I haven't,
Tyrant
I
Hunter's
also
good.
don't watch a lot of James and you are the only ones that I see that I'm really still like the algorithm has me locked in, because like it's really negative for me. You know what I mean? And then
Well,
my
you're
whole
right.
feed is like, oh,
Thank
this
you.
guy shot a kitten in the fucking, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I've got
And you're like,
separate
oh,
profiles for that, Johnny. Like,
okay.
like I have a separate YouTube channel basically set up so that I can browse YouTube and look it through social media without being logged into James Freeman, because James
Right.
Freeman's, and I have the same thing on Facebook. Basically, I call it work profile versus personal profile, because I don't want to see all that stuff all the time.
Right.
Good
Like,
point.
is there anybody in like Virginia or West Virginia or Ohio or, you know what I mean?
Ohio
Like,
is that popular guy with the beard, like Western New York, Ohio area. You had him on.
Are you talking about
Erie County?
auditing Erie County?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no, he's Western New York.
But he's so close to Ohio. I think he's right on the border, isn't he?
I don't know.
But either way,
I think, yeah.
There's really nobody in Ohio. Nobody in fucking, Tennessee or Kentucky.
I remember seeing one guy like in Virginia do something. It was like he was like filming a school crossing or something like that, and like some guy was like,
"That's not weird.
That'll do it. That'll stop the crime."
Dude,
yeah, you guys from west of the Mississippi, you're inundated. East of the Mississippi, it's sparse. I guess I'll just go that way. Who's in Missouri? Who's shit like that.
You got a few
like
in Missouri.
Kansas City or
I watch so few channels because it's just me. There's so many auditors now in my eyes that are there for the wrong reason. They may have all started for the right reason.
Yeah.
But they
When
get
you're just there
twisted
to
and turned
disrupt.
down a road or a direction that I don't really want to see or care about.
You chat, you guys that are in my chat, if you guys see stories, send them my way, but they can't involve like too much. They can't really involve violence. You know what I mean? Like stuff that YouTube is not gonna. So, just
ScrewTube's horrible.
Yeah.
I tell you, you guys are smart to get on TikTok, Rumble, or other platforms. I don't want to waste my time. I could care less. But if you want to grow your channel, good for you guys, man. And good for you guys for growing hugely and rightly so, because you both are just so talented in so many ways and so brilliant in your words and your thoughts. And that's why I stay tuned to you guys. There's very few, maybe 10 that I actually watch and stay attached to.
Yeah,
you guys are fucking
James
amazing.
and I are like separated at birth. I still can't figure out the people that are like I said, I'm not objective about this. The people are like, oh, you guys. There's some people are like, oh, Johnny, you and James sound alike, and then there's people that are like, Johnny, you and I can't tell the two of you apart if I'm just hearing the audio.
Okay.
Like if you're doing voiceovers, I can't tell who's who. And I was like,
good, let's switch it up. So I'm
know.
Johnny. I love penis.
Hey everybody, it's James Freeman.
Yeah. So you guys
I'm
are
not gay, but I'm a good kisser.
You're so quick and you're so witty. And that's so
well,
attractive.
And I think that was one of the coolest things. And I don't want to like pat myself on the back or anything like, but like I think when James is a really, really funny guy. And I think when I came out there in February of 2018, like I think, and I could be wrong, I think I allowed James this space. Like I really showed him like how funny and how spontaneous you can be, and just whatever fucking thought comes to your mind, because he's as ADHD as I am, of like just say it. You know what I mean? And like, you can always try to retract it later,
That's
and James got way funnier because James was a funny guy. No, but I think sometimes it just gives just like Dan, like you were like, when I saw your channel, I was like, oh, wow, you can be funny doing this. Like it just gave me license, And I love when James uses my lines, because it's not plagiarism with James. It's an homage. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, the great, and this is the one that I stole from a friend of mine, a sober friend of mine who's a comic who's gone on to great meeting in the sky. And he was like, well, it's just my opinion. Shared by millions.
I like to say, nice story. So
Shared by millions.
I've used nice story a couple times.
Yeah.
I stole that.
Cool, cool story. No, I
cool
always
story, right.
I always see the Obama drinking out of like the sippy cup or whatever. You're like, it's like drinking a, talking to someone with the cool story meme. Yeah,
nice
Glocks.
Right.
Thank you for the super chat.
It's been a hell of a ride.
James is a sexy man.
He is.
James is a sexy man, and he is fertile too. I mean,
he is popping kids out like fucking.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I hope James, I hope Mrs. Freeman doesn't take offense with my using the James Freeman is my baby daddy all the time. So if she has taken offense, please apologize on my behalf. So
no, she found your phone number. She was gonna call you. Who are you, bitch?
Right.
She realized it was you, and she said, "Nah, it's cool. It's cool." So she's okay with it. Me being your baby daddy.
Yeah. How many you got now, James? I had 4. What do you got now? You up to 6?
6 next month. 5 and like 9/8 or some shit like that.
God love you.
9/8. Math is hard. 9/8. Oh my God.
Go for a bacon.
I don't know. I've been telling people she's 12 months pregnant for a while, so I don't know how far she is. It's got to be
perpetually pregnant.
Right.
Yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. Kids are an amazing thing. I always say that they're God's way of punishing us for having sex. But okay. What a one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's Belle doing? Is Belle hanging?
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Somebody just said, "Rest in peace to Disorderly Product News." That guy. You want to talk about funny? I mean, that guy brought when he did his Peabody, his Ronald Reagan voice. You familiar with Disorderly Product News?
No.
He was the guy from Chicago, and he had that really strong Chicago accent. He passed away a few years ago, and just really, really funny guy, and very passionate about this.
And that's why I like you guys also, because you share other people's work or talk about other channels, and that helps me see what else is out there without having to, dig or look. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, man. James Freeman has childbearing hips.
What's that?
James has...
Yeah, the commentators and the subs are an interesting crowd.
Yeah, can somebody have the mods not been posting Southeastern PA Community Watch's link? If not, you guys all ban yourselves.
Yeah, just go to YouTube and tap in Southeastern. It'll pop up.
Yeah. Tapatios, what's up, man? Orale. Dude, we went fucking deep. You know what? I got a lot of respect for the Phoenix. There's a bunch of Phoenix guys, but that is like I said, everybody contacts you and says our city's the worst, our town's the worst, our city's the worst. And although the most that I ever got that from was Claremore, Oklahoma, that James and I went to. And number 2, I say by far, is all of Phoenix area, including Tucson, but it's like all of those cities surrounding Phoenix is just. I don't know if you guys have you guys been watching the like mainstream news about the police, some detective at the Phoenix Police Department, some female detective who has a bunch of cases, and she's got all of she falsified evidence on like hundreds of cases, and they were like, all right, well, we're going to subpoena you to show up in court. And she's like, oh, I'm on a medical leave and I'm too ill to show up.
What a fucking
wow.
Oh,
I mean, you gotta, it's been in the last month or so, like this female, you just type in female. I think it's a detective, like female detective, Phoenix Police Department. I mean, like high ranking, just corrupt AF, and the local news broke the story. You know what I mean? I'm like,
good. Broke it. Okay, good for them.
Yeah.
Rare.
Yeah, no, because
corporate-owned media doesn't want to tell you the truth.
Exactly.
So good for them. An actual journalist. God,
Yeah.
what's going on? That's why I've killed my cable. I've thrown my TVs out the window. You will never understand or know the truth if you keep on listening to that. I call it a boob tube, propaganda box.
Yeah.
The real truth is it's hard to find, but it's there.
King Sport Cow. We just got found out, you guys. The jig is up.
I am undercover. I've been undercover for ages. Yeah, I like going after my politicians though too. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, are they the biggest fucking cowards in the world. Okay, my God Almighty.
Oh, have
How
you
about the
seen
video when I go to my politician's office and he tells me I can't make an appointment, so I pick up my phone and call him right there at the fucking phone. And I mean, come on, man, and that was just unbelievably retarded. So
have you seen Professional Douche?
Oh God, yeah.
Michael Picard. Have you seen him?
Yeah,
he's great.
Trolling politicians, and
he is unbelievable.
Dude,
very original, also another original guy.
Yeah, yeah. I featured that story where he got arrested at the DUI checkpoint with a concealed weapon that he had a concealed weapons permit for in Connecticut.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and then they're on fucking video conspiring. They're on audio recording. Like, oh.
Well, if you saw our video of our arrest at Salem County, we got the police tapes, their body cams, and all they did was conspire. We were nowhere on the property. We left on a road free will. We're about 1.5 miles down the road, and you could just hear the warden, the assistant warden, and both state troopers just conspire for 5 minutes about how can we get them? How can we?
Yeah.
Wow. Kidding me?
Yeah. Did that get?
And how great they're so dumb.
Is that getting brought up in your civil?
Oh well, we've already ended that one.
Okay.
Did
it get brought up?
What's that?
Did that get brought? Okay.
Absolutely. What's that? 242 and 243. USC something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 18.
But how great it is when they record their own crimes for me to use against them in court. How great is that? Okay. And how retarded is them to talk like that on fucking camera. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Picard's great. He you see that one where he went to go see Pence and he's yelling, "You're my gay lover" or something. It was so great in the fucking.
He's just got that. Gravel. He's just got that face that you're like
that retard face.
This guy? Is he?
Yeah,
is he special I'm not needs? You know what I mean? Like no, you know what I mean? Like.
Who just said retard face?
Well, I'm not politically correct. What the fuck do I care? I call a spade a spade. Truth hurts. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I love original people. Like you say, Tua Pre and you guys and Michael Picard. And it's so rare to actually have someone that original that's got the balls to get out there and show the world. Yeah. It's so great. It's a special time. Yeah, Direct D's, he's got some battles ahead of him, man. I heard you talking about him in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Direct D.
Yeah,
he's a wild man, and God love him. Okay.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, was it like CNN or something that did a thing on him, and cop watchers and shit like that, and they featured him, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's so aggressive," and I'm like, "Oh, you mean in like executing somebody's fucking 6-month-old lab puppy is not like get the fuck out?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Aggressive. Yeah. Well, they always gaslight. They don't escalate.
It's propaganda.
Right. It's just shut the fuck up. Okay.
The one that I lost my mind over was the fake fentanyl overdoses. So I didn't realize that you can't get an overdose of fentanyl by it just being powder
near it.
Near it. You know what I mean? And it was I did my video, and of course it got just shadow banned and just I think it got like barely 10,000 views or something like that. And you know, and Inside Edition had these doctors on there, and these doctors are like, listen, I'm not saying that that cop that's lying on his back right now is not having a medical condition,
I got
but what he's having is a panic attack, probably. He goes, I'm, you know, I'm not his doctor and I wasn't there, so I don't know. And then there's like a female cop, I think somewhere in the Midwest, Ohio or something like that. She's sitting on the curb and it's nighttime, and she's like, I'm having an overdose right now. And these cops are, these doctors are laughing in this Inside Edition thing, and they go, "Have you ever seen an opioid overdose?"
It ain't like that.
Their eyes are rolled back in their head, and they are unconscious. That's what
all the world's a stage, man. We're just merely players, portrayers,
and I'm old enough. I'm like, when did the hell opioid come in? Why isn't it an opiate? And then I actually looked it up, and opioids are synthetic. Opiates are natural.
Okay.
So opioids are like fentanyl and stuff like that. And then this one doctor is talking, and he's like, do you understand? And my wife was on the fentanyl, the transdermal patch. He goes, do you know how many millions of dollars that that Big Pharma spent trying to get fentanyl? Because there's plenty of like cancer patients that can't take a pill because you're just vomiting all of it. Like you can't keep water down, you know? And so they needed to, you know, have a different
alternative.
And they said it took millions and millions of dollars and years and years and years to make the transdermal fentanyl patch. And they said, and even now it's like, it's not that great. So this idea that you can like look at fentanyl and you're like, you know, you overdose. But that one in San Diego County, with San Diego County Sheriff's Department, the propaganda, I mean, it was at like 16 million views like a year ago.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's all about twisting the narrative, man.
But no one's calling them out on it, you know? But it was just amazing. But it was just amazing to hear doctors, you know? So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I really wish I lived closer to DC.
How far are you? Like 2 hours, 2.5, 3?
They say it's 3. I can probably, the way I drive, probably 2.5.
Okay, well, yeah, but you know,
say 3 max. Yes. Yeah.
Traffic is crazy. I remember. So my brother lives in Virginia, and he's retired, and I remember when my wife and I were visiting him, and we were going up to DC, and this is probably like 2010. And he was like, "Oh, you're going up to DC? You better watch out. There's a lot of traffic." And I was like, "Cool story, bro." I'm like, I'm from Los Angeles. Okay, we invented traffic. And I was like, my fucking boomer brother, fuck that guy. You know, dude, we got up to DC, fucking gridlock. I mean, like
depends on the time of day.
But they were doing construction, and it was like, I mean, we went nowhere. I mean, it was only 2-lane. You know, I was
always
like,
wanted to go to Langley and go visit what's there, and you all know what's in Langley, Virginia. But I've been told to leave it alone multiple times by multiple people that know people.
Yeah, yeah,
that would be a great. I mean, are you kidding me? That would be so fun.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that was like a former military guy, and I told him that I had gotten arrested on Edwards Air Force Base, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back, and he was like,
no, you're not.
So speaking of Air Force you probably dodged a bullet there, dude. You know, because they're doing some fucking heinous top secret shit at fucking Edwards.
Speaking of Fort Detrick, look up the history of Fort Detrick.
Don't even. Yeah, that's the book
of
bio.
An hour and a half from my house, and me and Wolfie want to go there, but he keeps pussing out on me. Okay, and I think he's the smart person.
That is almost on par with Fort Huachuca, which somebody who shall not be named. So if you've ever watched, so one of the draws of Tom Clancy novels is their accuracy, and to the point where people in the military are like, you wrote Hunt for Red October, like where did you get this information about a silent running fucking sub? Because like this was like top secret. Like somebody leaked this to you. You didn't like just, you know, and And when I think it's clear and present danger when it's the fucking, the Colombian cocaine dealers on their cell phones, and then they cut over and it says Fort Huachuca, and it's like, and they're doing all the voice printing of every phone call in the world goes through Fort Huachuca, and they voice print and go, oh, that's that cocaine dealer in Medellin that we're looking for. That's him on this burner phone.
Isn't it great that our extorted tax dollars pays for our own imprisonment?
Oh yeah. So Huachuca has got some, and that's like one aspect of Fort Huachuca of like the top secret like military intelligence stuff. And I know the Gallaghers of the world saying that that's an oxymoron, but there's some fucking heinous shit that goes on at MI.
Word has it that Fort Detrick had a lot to do with the COVID vaccine.
Oh, absolutely.
And many other deep dark projects.
James, did they bring you on base at Fort, which on post? I should say. It's a fort.
Yep. From off base. Yeah. They picked me up and brought me onto the base.
Wow.
Okay.
That's sketchy.
Uh-huh.
Do whatever you want with you at that point. That's crazy.
No, and then they brought me in there. They threw me in the cell, and then there are local police because they pulled what is it? Sierra Vista police. So they threw me in the cell on the base, and then they brought Sierra Vista police in, and they all came and took pictures of me with their phones and laughed at me, and then left.
Really?
Yeah.
So how long do you stay in that cage?
Not long. That was when I was still a lot more stubborn, and I never cooperated at all. Like the whole, I don't have my ID on me, and I'm not giving you my name. I don't care if we sit here for the next 10 years. I ain't giving you my name.
Remember them days?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll never forget when I got arrested in Santa Barbara, and then the one after the mug shots, they brought me over, and I was like, oh, that's a retina scan.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Okay, so go ahead. So Sierra Vista shows up.
Yeah, no,
did they OR you, or what
I can't remember. That was a long time ago. I remember I was being really stubborn.
They charged you with that?
No, you know what it was? I was live, and that's how people knew about it. And so people were calling in and doxing me to them. But it ended up speeding up the process in reality because they weren't going to process me until they had a name.
Right.
So the trolls basically helped me get out of jail quicker without me ever having to give up my rights.
That's
that is so fucking fantastic.
So did they charge you with anything at that point?
Yeah, I got 4 federal charges, trespassing. I don't remember what they all were even. Wow. It was trespassing with an intent to commit a crime. And then I got that photographing top secret or classified information charge.
Really? Same thing that Google takes a picture of, right?
Right. And the statute's written. There's a few guys have been charged. Almost all the guys who got arrested at military bases or federal government, that's what they charge them with. And it says that they're saying that the statute says that you can't take pictures of anything government, but what it's actually
the USC 795, not photographing. Yeah, that's the one I got charged with that too.
Right.
But it actually says that you can't take pictures of secret, top secret. You couldn't get to the things that you're not allowed to take pictures of unless you have a clearance. I mean, it's not like they're acting like they got the nuke codes displayed at the gate. But
you got the football on film.
But exactly. But no, it's a catch-22 because USC 795 dictates there's a top secret list of military installations deemed by the President of the United States. Well, okay, who's on the list? Well, we can't tell you.
Okay, so how do you know?
Yep.
Right.
So that's
in order to get a conviction, they'd have to tell you.
Right.
Top secret information, apparently.
Yeah, that's the catch-22 there. So
did both of you get your charges dropped at those bases, or did you beat them in court?
I had mine dropped when they saw Lisa Houlet show up. She was not fucking her, and they were like, "Fuck," They were like, "This is," which just tells you that it's it's all bullshit arrest. But
what about you, James?
They drugged mine out for like 2 to 2.5 years, and my lawyer was my worst enemy in that entire case. Gosh, I wish I could remember his name just so I could throw it out there again and remember that. It's the worst attorney I've ever dealt with in my entire life on anything. What was his goddamn name? Anyways, they drug it out for about 2 to 2.5 years, and after this piece of shit finally pushed me too far when we were in court one day, I said, Judge, I'm going to represent myself. He's like, no, you shouldn't do that. And I said, no, I'm tired of this piece of crap. It's been going on long enough. So the judge, they didn't want me to go pro se. And so they told me I've got to fill out a financial affidavit. They tried to force a lawyer on me. I said, no. 2 weeks later, a lawyer calls me anyways. Says, hey, I was assigned to your case. I said, well, I'm done with your guys' bullshit. So you got 2 weeks to get the case dismissed or release your history with cocaine and being disbarred multiple times. And then 2 weeks later, the case was dismissed. So,
yeah, I really believe it's just tying people up, making their life unmiserable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And costing
they
money.
knew it. And that's why
it's all a tax write-off, though. I mean, I've learned that one from my accountant.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. And that's why I knew it was just time to tell him, look, I'm done taking the ride. You know, we found out later too, that the officer that arrested me ended up being fired shortly after that for all kinds of
that reason or for some other reason.
It was a whole bunch of other stuff, behavioral issues, including groping the dispatcher and
shocker.
What was his name?
I can't remember that either.
Otto the watchdog is here.
I bet all this stuff is linked in my videos, but I don't recall.
No, I remember that now that you had a really hard time with your lawyer. So they have something in California. They have something that's called a pitches motion. And what it is you can request the private sealed
document
of the officer of any improprieties or but if the judge deems it admissible or pertinent to the case, then he can say, all right, we're going to open up his personnel record, and he's got, if he's got 7 of the same kind of fucking false arrests or with violence, so
that's interesting.
The judge denied my pitches motion in the Santa Barbara case, and my lawyer was like, I don't know, I'm not going to tell you that you're fucked here, but like this is not gonna, this isn't going well, and so he was like, listen, you can do a plea deal, we can go to court or for an extra $7,000.
Great options.
And I was, I did 6 months. 6 hours. I did 6 months that I had to be out of. Everyone's like, why weren't you out filming cops? I'm like, there was a 6-month window where I could not get in trouble.
I had to stay away from the non-federal reserve for 1.5 years in my settlement.
Yeah.
So the day after that 1.5 years, I went back down, and they wouldn't come out to play. So I hear you about being banned for a while.
Yeah. So, and that I had to do 10 hours of community service, which I did through a friend doing video editing.
Oh, good. So you got to pick and choose where you went for that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a sober guy in LA, and I know like thousands of people, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, oh, I got a friend of mine that's got a .org, and she does comedy and stuff. And it's a comedy meets meditation thing. And she does all of these. I'm like, hey, you need some, you write a letter for me. I'll do some video editing for you. So yeah.
Sure beats working at a soup kitchen, I guess, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. Well, I went to like a Goodwill. I went to a Goodwill, and I was like, hey, do you guys do community service here? And they were like, yeah, we'll do that. They said the only exception is if you're court ordered. We won't take you. Oh, it was fucking fantastic. Oh my God. It's fantastic. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, good. I didn't want to work in this shithole anyway. You know what I mean? Like, fucking universe looking out for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, it's I'm kind of claustrophobic, so I always hated going into those tight cages. Yeah, I would not make a good prisoner.
Oh no, I'm the worst nightmare. When I went into the holding cell in Santa Barbara, there were 10 other guys in there, and I had those guys up to speed on their fucking First, Fourth, Fifth Amendment. Like,
Johnny's teaching them.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you're gonna put me in fucking, in a cage or in Gen Pop or whatever.
Gotcha.
Like,
Good
I'll
point.
be your worst fucking nightmare. I'm going to be teaching fucking workshops on how to deal with the fucking getting pulled over officer. What? Okay, one more time. Repeat after me, everybody. What is your reasonable, articulable suspicion that I have committed a crime about? Like, oh.
You could bring in a bulldozer and teach welding classes to like build a bulletproof cage around a bulldozer.
Oh God, dude. So the one of the sheriff's deputies in Santa Barbara, he was like, Olson, like what? He goes, there are thousands of people calling this jail right now.
Good.
Wanting to know a status on you, and I was like, they're like, you need to make it stop.
No.
And I was like, I was like, well, if I had that kind of power over time and space, you think I'd be in this cage right now?
Yeah, you couldn't stop that. Exactly.
I said, you guys are the ones that did this. I'm just a photographer that was in a library telling everybody to shh.
Yes, you were.
No, because that's what nobody knows the backstory on. I mean that Santa Barbara arrest, I shushed people for like 45 minutes before the fucking police showed up. Nobody got to see that part because I didn't go live until I was like, oh shit. You know when you get that spidey sense where you're like,
yeah,
it's about to happen.
Oh yeah.
You're the shusher. I also stole talking to your buddy like a story as the cops are there and blowing them off, and
oh yeah, no, absolutely. I don't mind.
That is the best when you have someone with you and you just talking between each other and they want your attention. And
yeah. Oh my God, Denise and I did one in South Central where we were talking about we had this little one of those little like college refrigerators. You know what I mean? Like it was just for like water and Red Bulls and shit. And we had the waters in like lying down like wine bottles and shit like that. And I was like, yeah. And I put the water bottles and I flipped them. I flipped a couple the other way because I knew your OCD would be like, oh my God.
And Wolfie and I pulled that a couple times at a couple of our stops.
Oh no,
so great.
But that old folks home was where that security guard drove a golf cart on a public street. And it wasn't until the comment section that everybody was like, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Like, because it doesn't have brake lights or whatever, like it's just it's not a street, and they lost their mind. And if you remember, there was that John Malkovich creepy guy that drove past at like creeper speed, and he's like, y'all aren't creepy at all.
Yeah.
And I rewound it and
slow motion and shit. Yeah.
I mean, he looked just like John Malkovich, and not in the sexy. I'm just the fucking creepiest.
Oh my God.
Y'all aren't creepy at all.
Wasn't there a couple of people that stopped and talked to us there?
Well, the one of the other security guard walks up to me and he was like, I'm like, you want to see my ID, don't you? And he was like, yeah, I do. And I go, will you show me your ID? And he starts laughing like out loud. And I was like, exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make here, kids. Everybody listening,
Was it the security guard or a cop that?
No, well, the cops didn't come till later.
Yeah, it was the security guard trying to ID you, right?
Yeah, he was in the car. If you remember, he pulled up from the opposite direction.
He was the supervisor or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They called him in because it was like getting super dangerous because we were still on the public road.
Well, and the security guard was like, "Oh, they're doing public pornography."
Yeah, that's right. I don't care if it's public pornography or what you're doing. Don't do it here.
Well, if anything, I think we've woken the world up of a couple things, and about public photography.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, my whole thing, and I was talking to Mr. Checkpoint today. I don't know if you guys know him. And I
Yeah.
was talking to him for like 2 hours today, and I said
DUI guy.
this all stems from my being a photographer. And after 9/11, photography became a crime. This was my activism of like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I can point a camera wherever here, man. So.
Well, they
And Furry it was like a deer in the headlights during that whole fucking week. She was just like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And when the fucking cops showed up and shit, she was just like,
she was big at going to those synagogues for a while. Is she even around anymore?
She got shot.
She got what?
She got shot.
No, she got a good pay. She got a good payout on that firefighter in the City of Commerce that threw her down the stairs.
Yeah, I remember being shot too in the leg or something. I remember. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude, that was wild.
That was.
Dude, I don't know. I just listen. Everybody gets to do whatever they want. I just try to like respect. Like I don't sit outside a fucking Catholic church on a Sunday. Like you know what I mean? Like
exactly
like, right outside. Like I mean. And I mean, and I've seen Jeff Gray do it respectfully, like at the sidewalk and just sit there with the sign, you know what I mean? And it's sort of like, I saw somebody post and they said, I wanted you guys are familiar with that TV show, Undercover Boss.
Yep.
You ever seen that? And they said, I want to see an episode of Undercover Boss where Jesus. So they show a picture of Jesus with glasses on. You know what I mean? Like, so you can't tell it's him. Like, it's like fucking Clark Kent. Like, oh wow, I didn't look anything different. And it said, I want to see Undercover Boss where Jesus goes to Joel Osteen's church.
Ooh. That'd be
or any of these other. Dude, did you? Yeah. Who's that creepy Texas guy that owns the plane that's got the fucking crazy eyes? Did you know that he's in a movie?
Oh, you're talking about the guy who says he won't travel on a plane because there's demons in there?
Well, he traveled. No, he has to. He has to travel on a private plane because there's demons on it. Yeah,
right.
Right. Yeah, no,
the
guy that's right? Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was. Yeah. I saw on TikTok like he was in a movie. I'm like, no. Somebody's trolling. This is somebody's pulling my middle leg. You know what I mean? Like, no. And
what's the movie?
I don't know, but you got to find the guy's name. I don't know what the fucking guy's name is, but look up.
Who are we talking about again?
Somebody in the chat, tell me who I'm talking about. He got fucking crazy fucking eyes. No, not Ross Perot. Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of deformed people out there. That's all I'm gonna say.
And especially among pastors too. So
yeah. And I already told you
about Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland. Okay. I've heard the name. I don't remember the face.
All right.
But yeah.
What movie?
Well, you know my thoughts on religion. It really gets in the way of the truth. It's all about taking money.
Okay, here's no.
Look at you.
I'm posting the link.
Nice.
It's a YouTube Ken Copeland. That is a link of a guy doing a reaction to a portion of the movie. Like it is. I haven't seen this video, but I've seen snippets on TikTok that were like, yes, the preacher, Bailey. He is in a fucking movie, like, and he's playing like he's playing himself, like he's playing this creepy fucking guy, like because when you're not a real actor, when you're not a real actor, you just fucking do your shtick, you know what I mean? Yeah, no relation to Stuart Copeland. Yeah, it's disturbing. Should we watch some of it? All right, here's a TikTok. All right, we're gonna watch a 90-second TikTok. Hold on. All right, hold on a minute.
I always wanted to set up a studio in my house. Good for you guys. No, seriously. Because all I do is talk.
Yeah, but I mean, all you need is a fucking white wall and.
Correct. It's not much. I get it. I'm just too lazy. Plus, I'm old school. I'd have to have someone set it up for me.
Oh, he's a cartel. Oh my God, he's a member of a Mexican cartel.
Really?
Ken Copeland is
in the movie.
Oh,
no. Yeah, no, you can't
see the
make
video.
this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. All right, hold on a minute. It's a 90-second trailer.
Man, if I ever seen a devil before, that's him right there.
Oh yeah. I
wonder if I can share my screen. One of my screens. I don't want to share them all. You might see too much.
Yeah. Where is present? Is it? Okay, here we go.
Whoops.
All right, you guys ready? It's a 90-second. It's a 90-second.
I'm just gonna explain it.
Tell me if there's audio.
So the movie opens up with our
Low.
Yeah, I know it's low. It's as high as it'll go.
Okay.
In Spanish.
Children of wrath, evil as others. With rich in mercy.
It's very uncomfortable. So Kenneth's character makes this call, and you're gonna notice that I'm forgetting some of the names.
Yeah, you can barely hear this audio, but
I can't remember the names. They introduced so many characters in this movie that I kind of lost track. So Kenneth Copeland's character is making a call, and he's saying, "Bring them to me. Bring the fellas in." So the fellas show up, and this is when I first noticed that there is a lot of awkward silence.
Jefe.
oh my God.
So Kenneth Copeland is essentially this kind of cartel type character who's running the city, and he takes his ring off, the family ring, and he sets it on the desk, and instead he puts on this giant cross necklace and says,
My heart
What?
is no longer the same.
to which we get the amazing delivery of Oscar-worthy acting right after.
What do you mean?
How about everything we established?
After that, he calls his son Junior and tells him, "Hey, you need to show up here," which then we find out the rest of the gang, they don't really respect Junior, that he's going to have to prove himself.
Oh my God. Listen, all I got to say is if you guys are not going and investigating the Kenneth Copeland movie, like, I mean, it is so disturbing. So disturbing.
Have you watched the whole thing, Johnny?
No. I just saw.
Not yet. It's on your list, right?
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, Dan, put together a list of some tentative places. For us to hit, and also places that I could bring a drone to, because sometimes downtown gets a little bit dicey because you're not allowed to fly over people or cars.
You'll have to tell me the rules, and then we'll pick a place.
In case the drone crashes in the street, like, you can't have it hovering over
Makes
in
sense.
case it crashes, you're going to cause
damage or injury,
or people crashing into pedestrians or so forth. So that you gotta, so that for the drone stuff, we just need to be out a little bit further, but
right. So we can always go to Valley Forge Park, which is not far from my house.
Yeah, some of the parks get fucking weird. Some of the parks are restricted on it's so like, and it depends. It's like state to state. Sometimes it's county to county. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
All right, yeah, I definitely don't want you to be arrested while you're out here. That's
no.
We'll have to figure it out.
It's a lifelong gang. Otto, I hope you're well, man.
All right, guys,
I'm still trying to get Otto to repent. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry he put that in the chat.
Oh my God. Sorry that I didn't really pay attention to the chat that much tonight, guys. I'm too ADHD. I can either it can either be here with these two guys, and you guys, or pay attention to the chat. So had a tough time multitasking here tonight. So
that's why we need a producer, huh?
Exactly. No, so you just need somebody in your ear to be like, Johnny, Otto just made a funny you know what I mean? Like, just somebody that can weed through it all.
Nice.
So all right, you guys. Well,
it's almost 2 o'clock out here, so I gotta get myself to bed.
So we're at 2 hours and 50 minutes runtime on the live stream. So
nice.
of really talking about not much.
Yeah.
Which
Appreciate
is
the invite.
No, I mean, there's no I don't want to put any pressure after the hey James, I'm going to fly out there and we're going to do a bunch of fucking podcasts back to back and we're going to have to change outfits. So it looks like we did these on different days and not an hour apart. And then he went into a panic. I didn't want to put James back against the wall again. So I was like, let's just, have the topic be like a free form, fucking whatever comes to mind. So
it was a good run down memory lane and other things. It was good, man.
Yeah.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Cool,
you guys take care, James. Always
Thanks
great to see
on.
you. Johnny, you're the best.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man.
Have a great night, man. See ya.
Oh my God. That's I want to get this tattoo. 9/8 pregnant Mrs. Freeman. Oh my God. I'm still waiting for all the list of bad words from Royce City. Oh my God, that's fantastic. James didn't even say goodbye. He just left. You are welcome, Keely. So you guys want to see me fly out to Philly? I got to meet Dan at some point, man. So I think it would be cool. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, Dan and his sense of humor was the tipping point where I was like, man, I got to do here's somebody doing that who's funny, who's doing activism with some humor, so yeah. So cool. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We're coming up on 3 hours, and I appreciate you all being here. And I just wanted to drop in and say hi and tell you the guys that I am working on the Santa Barbara arrest video. It's going to be, there's a lot of backstory and stuff too, which I spoke a lot of tonight as well. So, yeah, but there was a ton of shushing going on prior to my arrest. So, yeah. So cool, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys. I love all of you. Except that one guy.